to Dynaground. Hello, my name is Owen and I'm your professional Dyna rider. Today I'll be teaching you how to ride a dinosaur and win that chicken dinner. Now, let's begin! Relax, don't be scared. That's the sound of the mighty T-Rex. Now, here's the first dinosaur encounter. I want you to meet my girl Vicky, my sweet little raptor. Look how cute she is.
Isn't she lovely?
Vicky or raptors, they're the most vicious and fastest beasts in the world. To ride a dinosaur, first you must build trust. They are carnivores. They eat meat. You have to feed them off. They will think that you are their friend, not food. Once they trust you, they will be a great companion. However, taming a dinosaur can be seen. Experience dinosaur taming and riding an all-new version of PUBG Mobile Dynaground. Explore Dino Settlement and Wild Reserve and embark on a prehistoric adventure in the Battle Royale game. Come and play now.
Welcome back, gamers. Welcome back, enthusiasts. We are back at Ruthless Esports and we are presenting the Europe Invitationals at this point. And eventually, this is phase number 2, which is going to get started today. And we have qualifiers coming in, I believe. So, yes, definitely the next 15 matches are going to be full of joys. Well, your casters for the day are going to be Raider and Upcon. My name is Raider. Along with me is my amazing co-caster, Upcon. Well, how are you, buddy?
Well, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And at the same time, I hope the teams are doing great at the same time, because after phase 1, Team REGNUM CARYA has backed up the first position. The hashtag 1 was just unbeatable after they had, conquered it after day 2. This is going to be a phase of 3 days. Today is going to be the first day of phase 3. But before we head on, we'll just like to, take a look after all the schedule and all the scenes as well to show you guys how important it is going to be indeed for each and every team. These are the Europe Invitational. You get to see the best teams from the region of Europe, from EMEA, from EU, from Turkish, from the side of Italy and France as well. But at the same time, let's take a look at the points table where you can see number 1 team coming with the winner chicken dinner, back them off with 10 points. The team at the second position will be at the 6th, 5th for the side of third place, 4th with 4 points, third for 3 points with the 5th placement position. 6th place will grab you 2 points, 7th and 8th with 1, and 9th to 28th place will get you no points. Meantime, as you talk about the tournament info, it's going to be the second phase, which is going to be starting up from today.
Well, yes, mark your calendar, guys, because 5th zone is going to get initiated with the phase number 2, and eventually tomorrow you'll get to see the day of comeback, and after that the judgment day will come in on the 7th of the June. But other than that, if we talk about the prize pool, it is pretty much similar as to what was there as a prize pool in the phase number 1. Phase number 2's prize pool is considered of $1,000, first place $500, second place $250, third place $150, and eventually if we talk about the most valuable player, he is going to get $100. That's an individual price, so obviously I believe every single guy from every single team is going to do everything that is there in their potential arms to actually just come up with some good angles and maybe get the MVP reward as well. But yeah, this was the tournament info. Let's talk about the squad roster first of all. Once again, we have FUT Esports, RIP7, Kyra's Rookie, Sabian. Well, FUT Esports was amazing initially in day number 1, but eventually their performance went down quite a bit. Same goes for OZAROX Esports and also RUYA. But out of these 4 teams, to be honest, FLUX is the one which actually impressed us a lot with, if I'm not wrong, 5 Miramars in their favor, and that is huge.
Well, with the same time, it's the champion team, REGNUM, CARYA, Tron, while Zelshin, and then Loxy. We have BESIKTAS Esports, a team with a lot of consistency. Bro, Esports, four players are always a rotation is something you gotta really give it up to them, but not the firepower. Indeed, Team MELISE Esports as well really had a promising start, really had a promising run. I do expect them to once again showcase us some immense action and to add up some more good points when it comes to the second phase. GAIMIN Gladiators are going to be the one who will be joining in. Team Major Pride, who were just looking so good with their comeback, is BG. Is one of the team who were all the way towards the top of the leaderboard. The first team indeed to win the winner chicken dinner in the first game. But then it wasn't just all for nothing. Then Excuse Me is also one of the team who kind of struggled a bit because you have a lot of talents in this lobby, and going up against each and every one of them in a map like Erangel and Miramar hasn't been that more promising one for them lately. But let's see how the second phase pans out for them.
Oh yeah, definitely have to see how the second phase is going to be credential for teams like SPG, as you said. Excuse Me is going to be another amazing team I would love to watch out for. On the hindsight, we do have Major Sprite as well. Players like Nomi are going to impress us a lot. MADBULLS, again, another commendable job done from the corner in the phase number 1 is actually here. We have Talika, Frozen, Shirek, and also Flyky coming in from the particular guys of MADBULLS. On the hindsight, NEXUS Gaming, again, a very interesting team. Here, Esports also started off quite well in the initial stages, and also in the day number 2 they were looking quite fruitful, but eventually at the day end things were not looking that good for them. Sly Europe, again, one of those teams which just stuck at the bottom, so I guess they have to do something amazing in phase number 2 so that they can have our hearts for their particular team. But moving forward, let's talk about a bit more teams which are there presenting themselves in this particular phase number 2. But all in all, I'm way too interested to see how the competition is going to get evolved. Initially, yes, phase number 1 was quite good. Let's talk about phase number 2. I mean, 15 matches are going to be there every day. Every single day is going to be filled of, I guess, 5 matches. So yeah, opportunities will be there. Let's see how the matches are going to work and stuff like that. I mean, the schedule will come in. Every single detail will be conveyed to you guys. And if you have not yet followed the Instagram handle of Ruthless IP Esports, make sure to actually follow it, and that is esports.ruthless. That is the Instagram handle. You can get every single update on that particular Instagram handle, be it the scorecard, be it the teams that are representing their each region, the casters and stuff like that. Every single update is going to be there, and of course, as a caster, we are here to represent esports.ruthless, and we'll let you know everything. But just make sure to actually chat down and comment down, and eventually our moderators will also help you out a lot. Well, yeah, waiting for the match to get started. The first one, to be precise, is going to get started pretty soon. And with that, yes, the anticipation of the attacking formation and the winner chickens are also going to follow up.
Well, yeah, it's going to start things off at the map of Erangel. Erangel being one of the map where, out of all of these teams, we have seen at least 7 teams differently, winning it all. In Miramar, it's been only 2 teams which won Miramar in the first phase. First was Team FLUX and another was MELISE Esports. FLUX won out of 6, they won 5, and only 1 was being won from the side of MELISE. If you talk about Erangel, you'll get to see 9 Erangel action, and taking a look after the schedule, just sooner in no time we're going to start the match within few minutes down the line. It's going to be the map of Erangel, then we'll be going on towards the map of Miramar, then once again it's going to be Erangel, Miramar and Erangel. So 3 maps of Erangel, 2 maps of Miramar, and teams, they're going to get a good journey to just make them sure that even if the first game of them or the first 2 games are not promising enough, they do get enough room for themselves to give a comeback.
Comeback is something which is actually going to be quite amazing. As a caster, as an audience, we do love to see those stories coming into the play. Like one team is dominating, another one is trying to just chase up onto their point system and eventually get there with a huge comeback. I would love to see those comeback coming into the picture. Obviously, it is going to demand a lot of patience and stuff like that. But let's move on to the predictions as well. Indeed, in the previous phase, we were able to do our predictions and stuff like that. And my score is 2. Upon, you have to step it up a notch. And yeah, for me, I guess I would go for MADBULLS. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. I think I'll be starting things off with ARR for today. ARR Esports, let's see if they could really bring me a first point. Nonetheless, I would love to see how, this tournament totally has been about, these setbacks. So, MADBULLS for Raider, for me, it's going to be ARR. Let's see what is in from the side of chat. I mean, it's not Miramar, so you guys can choose anyone other than the side of Team FLUX. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how other teams are also going to come in. Those teams who have been not really able to step up. Team Nexus, Team SBG, Team GAIMIN Gladiators. Then you have none other than RUYA Esports, who are like kind of struggling, in the starting phase itself. Always they have these 4-man advantages in the map of Erangel. Miramar has been one of the places where Team BRA Esports always gets contested by SLY Europe and SLE Europe, and BRA Esports have been someone who have been really competing up against each other. Well, Team BRA comes up on top. So this time I'm really expecting that when it comes to Erangel, they're getting no clashes, they're getting no, such sort of situations where teams are challenging them. So they really, manage to bring up the lead from the very first day itself. Nonetheless, as we always say, first day is not, everything. Second day is the day where you get to see these setbacks, get to see the comeback. Teams have already seen each other in the first phase. This is the second phase. It's like the day 4 of the Ruthless Europe Invitational. So being at the fourth date, I do believe that teams here will be knowing where the opponent teams are going to be running into. They know that what they'll be doing and what they will be diving into. So let's see how now the drop location card up looks like. Because in Erangel, there are at least 3 to 4 places where you get to see the clash. First clash, Major Pride versus Team REGNUM, CARYA and Pochinki, and like a school between compounds. Then you have SBG and BESIKTAS, which is all the way towards Yasiana. In Georgepool, you have FLUX and excuse me, and if that's not enough, so there's another team who fights up towards the northern side of the George city as well. So which is next RUYA, and I believe it's none other than OZAROX. So this is kind of unfortunate that out of 16 teams, 8 teams, like half of the lobby, just execute up against each other in a drop clash.
Yeah, I mean, those drop clashes as a caster, we would love to see those drop clashes coming into the fight, because from initial start of that particular map, we will be seeing quite a few fights, and I would love to see that stuff happening again. But yeah, 15 maps have been passed. Eventually, there is no shifts in the change, or should I say, there is no change in the teams as well. So I mean, they know where the clashes might be. They know how they have to perform eventually. And even if there is going to be a clash, I would be more than happy, because obviously those clashes will give us an insight that how the aggression is going to work out, which team is particularly going to have the capsizing hand on another one. So yeah, I'm eagerly waiting for the match to get started. Pretty soon the flight path will come in, and pretty soon we'll be seeing the first play zone. But give us your prediction. Which team particularly you guys think? Well, for me it was MADBULLS, for Upcon it was ARR Esports, but there are still other 14 teams left for you guys to pick, or you can actually choose the one we are choosing. And also let us know that if you are actually the one which is actually winning the predictions and all of those stuffs. But yeah, now the map really depends, the flight path really depends. As we have seen already, the Erangel is going to be the first map of the day. But yes, I would love to see how the flight path is going to be there, how the play zone is going to enact. I mean, the flight path could be a diagonal one, but play zone could be a complete southern one. I would love to see that southern flight path coming in, and also a southern play zone coming in. But eventually, if the northern play zones are there, if the northern flight paths are coming in, a lot of teams might not have tough time rotating to that, because we don't see a lot of teams approaching the southern areas. Like OZAROX is the only team, if I'm not wrong, which loves to jump in the military base vicinity. Other than that, every single team is trying to approach either the central area or the northern one. But yeah, the game has been started. Without any delay, we are going to push into it. In just few seconds, we'll get to see the flight path of phase number 2, day number 1, match number 1. Coming up next, as I said, is going to be the map of Erangel, and there we go. The flight path will be coming in. Make sure to hit a like for that. And yes, flight path is starting from Katka 6 houses, I believe, and Katka 6 houses. Then we have a Query also quite close to it. Query Pier is also going to get started up, and it is going all the way to Novoripnoi. So yes, a diagonal one, a southern diagonal flight path coming in. Teams approaching Yasnapol, like BESIKTAS Esports, is going to have tough time approaching that area.
Oh yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Flight paths looks interesting. Teams like BESIKTAS is going to give a hard time to go all the way up. I think even there was another team, Team Major Pride, would go a little towards. They might need a vehicle to go near to the apartment positions. In Water Ozark, we see MADBULLS. So let's see if MADBULLS could really make their way in through the ruins. So most of the team, as you see, this is the second time we are seeing these kind of flight path. Only 3 teams goes towards the south side of the path, which is I think none other than next RUYA, OZAROX Esports, who wants to go towards the side of military base, and there's yet another team who will kind of contest, which is I think ARR. So let's see how situations are coming out. GAIMIN Gladiators and next RUYA are going to be having a clash all the way towards the ferry pair. The last time we saw this was in the day 1, where Frozen came in with a miraculous 1 versus 4. Team Excuse Me and the side of FLUX are already rushing in towards the northern side, and I think joining them this time it's going to be Team Food Esports as well. Food Esports SBG, this is going to be a great one. The fight for these compounds are going to go on. Meantime, Team GAIMIN Gladiators have also found some weapons in the ban house. The first knock dust comes in, and that's going to be FLUX, who will be struggling up a little bit.
I mean, due to the shift of the play zone, definitely a lot of teams are going to have tough time rotating. Like beat Excuse Me or OZAROX Esports, you have to rotate. Eventually, OZAROX Esports can actually rotate with the military base bridge in their consideration. Maybe there is going to be a clash, but eventually, if we talk about Excuse Me, there is another fight coming in, as we usually see them fighting with FLUX Esports in the southwest vicinity of the Georgia pool. Obviously, it won't be that easy for them to just completely take the control out of it, but after taking down one good player of FLUX Esports, they do have the anticipation. They do have an idea how they can actually jump up and eventually get the games done in their favor. 16 teams, 62 players, that's what we have at this point. And yes, there are some fallen heads. There are some players who has been taken down, but eventually a major share of the players or major share of the team is already surviving. Another space coming in. Okay, that is not looking good. Frozen has now been taken down. MADBULLS is indeed getting affected. And due to this kind of play zone shift, a lot of teams are going to get challenged. But on the other corner, Telika fights back. SPG's one good player has been taken down. Gaming Gladiators on the other corner also secures one. But let's see how far they can go with this kind of formation.
Yeah, surely I think, Team MADBULLS also loses one of the players, which is kind of a little, like struggleful, because 4 Esports is right next to them. From the backlines, you can see Team MELISE. Meantime, 4 Esports, they lose out yet another player. This is a big clash. This is a big, like cluster being formed in towards these Gatka farms area. So moving out from here, it's essential for you to have a vehicle, because this is burning so much time. Like within 40 seconds, I think the zone is going to shift in 900 meters far from the players of BESIKTAS and MELISE Esports. The BESIKTAS and MELISE, let's see how they are going to, eventually come up in these fights. Nonetheless, you also have MADBULLS and SBG just right next to them. Now, a great stuff for Enjoy that he's surviving in a pixel HP, and with nowhere to go, he's running up towards the potato hill. He has an AKM alongside a shotgun. Still looking for some loot. Maybe an healers or bandage would really be a helpful scenario for him. But nonetheless, for esports is going to revive their fallen player. MADBULLS still playing the game of patience here. Flood is going to be rotating in his vehicle, so this gives a sound and a little cautious there. But nonetheless, Kissy is going to be falling back. The first points came in from 4 different teams, out of which one of the team will definitely have a casualty. Excuse Me gets the first one. 4 Esports has managed to get one. Team GAIMIN Gladiators with one and MADBULLS 2. But the surfer for Team SBG, Team NEXUS, RUYA and FLUX is going to be unfortunate that for the next 20 minutes they'll be playing only with 3 man.
Yeah, I mean, losing the players is obviously not a good side to actually watch out, but eventually you can clearly see all of the teams who have got 1 points each are actually picking up the pace. So I would love to see how that formulation is going to go. At the same time, if we talk about FLUX Esports, Erangel is not the stronghold for this team. Erangel is not the map where they actually look way too strong when we compare them to the performance coming up in the Miramar region. In the phase number 1, as I said, out of 6 maps, I believe 5 were in the hands of this particular team, FLUX Esports, but currently, once again, they're trying to bounce back already. Losing Soulkeeper is not a good side. Now, Soulless, Kesh, and also Lutz is going to be the last 3 players which are still surviving. Excuse me, on the other corner, we have players like Furia, players like Havoc, and Beck and Black is going to be there. I believe Beck and Black and Furia, I mean, every single player from this particular team is pretty much the same as the phase number 1. So yeah, Lobby might be having the insight of how they can actually shut them down. But yeah, the jump is something which has to be considered. If Excuse Me finally nails down every single player from FLUX Esports, they will be having a complete wipe. Obviously, during that particular situation, they should actually consider the fact that they might also lose 1 or 2 players. So yeah, getting the frags is a good thing, but without losing even a single player is going to be the best part. BESIKTAS Esports on the other corner, peace is not going to be peaceful anymore. Yes, he has been taken down, and FET Esports moves on the top of the leaderboard with 2 amazing frags in their favor. Remember, everything that happened in the phase number 1 has been left in the phase number 1, be it the performance from the team or the predictions from the casters. So yes, everything is starting from scratch, and this particular match is obviously going to initiate the burst of momentum.
Surely it's steadily the case, but I feel like FLUX are really gonna, losing out to a lot of disadvantages. Lucky for them that the zone is just in their favor, but just look after the way they are surrounded by the players of Team Excuse Me. And now, meantime, Team 4 Esports, 1 player gets taken down, but what a spray from the side of Heroes! Oh man, that's a beautiful spray, and that gets him the squad elimination. What a play from this man, Kiros. It's gonna be in the highlights for sure. What a way to start things off. 5 defeats for him already, and he makes sure that Team 4 Esports is starting strong with all 4 players alive. Oh man, they have already 6 points, and the first team to get eliminated out of the equation, it's gonna be none other than MELISE Esports. So that's like unfortunate. Excuse Me, Beck is gonna get away with another kill. This time it's gonna be the PP Bazins coming out in their favor. That leaves Team FLUX with only 2 players. Now let's see. Solus is still going to be demanding for a first aid. He's down to a single pixel. Just look at his HP. Like he's wanting to heal with these bandages. Nonetheless, the DP28 action comes in. Kitson is going to be taken down. Team RUYA, who are playing with 4 players, are going to come up. Feripair is also going to be one of the places inside the zone. But within 75 seconds, I think the zone is going to shrink and it's going to be another second zone which is coming in. Frozen, he is the man of the entire team. He is the man which is most valuable when it comes to these damages and Nog. And he is looking confident when it comes to rush. Gets the first one, looking for another, spots him out. Kitsune, he needs to heal from the back line. Cheesy is only having a shotgun, so there's no way that he could, even give any sort of backup. And he's already getting tagged up. Kitsune has going to be closing things down. It's a scar in his hand. Frozen looking too confident. DP with his complete action, and it's going to be a headshot to land another shot, and that's going to be a 1-1-3 already. Frozen is taking each and every one of them out. He gets the fist to make sure that he saves up those crucial ammunitions, because eventually he might as well, run out of bullets. But with that, Team GAIMIN Gladiators are down to only one single player surviving.
Now he has got an information that there is a player lurking in the shadow, and that is why he's just trying to push onto him. A nade will be coming in, and with that nade, obviously a knockout could be followed up. And yes, that nade was a huge one, but finally it's done. Wow, NEXUS, the performance that is there from the corner is absolutely mesmerizing. But on the hindsight, we have OZAROX esports rotating back from the military base, and now they're trying to punch up the Philippine region in their favor. And it does seem like that OZAROX esports is going to have fun out of this, because they are about to receive their first frag, and eventually I don't think so that NEXUS is going to completely come here and pressurize the players, maybe fight back, because obviously NEXUS is also not left with a lot of utilities. The way they are performing, 14 teams, 48 players are now surviving, and we do have the second zone once again. 45% of the area is still in the water body, which is again going to be the unplayable area. A multitude of the teams have already been rotating. Sly Esports along with Major Sprite is rotating from the eastern flank of this particular map. MADBULLS on the hindsight is going to rotate from the Georgipool, southwest Georgipool containers, and then eventually like areas like that. Excuse me, with FLUX Esports is also going to fight back. On the other corner, we have got REGNUM CARYA as well. They are just completely taking the zone control. They're not trying to fight at this point. They're trying to completely take the control of the zone. But yes, I was so impressed to see Frozen from NEXUS performing the way he did. I mean, 3 amazing frags from this guy's particular corner was absolutely amazing. A big shout out to him. Because of him, GAIMIN Gladiators is now out of equation. 2 good teams are already done and trusted. There are quite a few teams which are also on the brink of extinction. That is going to be SPG along with FLUX as well, because you can clearly see, along with NEXUS as well, they have just 2-man power surviving at this point.
Oh, Team REGNUM versus the side of ARR and Pubg. Oh, he was in such a tough spot. Strix meanwhile get a good knock. Zilcon is going to be naded off, so let's see if he manages to dodge it out or no. It's a 4 versus 3 scenario. Wild might just get a connection onto that nade. Oh, he manages to save himself up, but Pubg meanwhile is going to be taken down. It's a 3 versus 3 clean scenario, and Team ARR, it's going to be difficult for them to retrieve. But what a clean push coming out. Trix is going to be punished for doing that. The nade is going to do the job, but it's left in a 1 versus 2 scenario. Becker gets a knock from that nade, but nonetheless it's going to be a squad elimination from the side of Team REGNUM CARYA, and it's the S12K which comes to rescue. It's Tron with the 1v2 and saves up each and every teammate of his. Somewhere down the line, it was looking a little difficult, especially after that nade got connected. But Tron with the shotgun, these S12Ks, the DBS, oh, it's been a big chaos since the very first phase. And it carries on towards second, but what carries on is also the fight between Team FLUX and excuse me. It started up from the phase 1, day 1 itself. Team FLUX were always looking in a big advantage, but since then, Erangel has been a nightmare because they love to go towards Georgipool, and that's where Team also comes and contests them. So far, Team FLUX are down to only 2 players, and they haven't yet managed to bring a single body down of Team resulting in them having 4-man advantage and being in a good split. Now the zone is going to walk away from the zones of Georgipool City. So within 20 seconds, the players are still in a safe zone, but then the circle is going to shift on. Still managing to cover them from each and every corner. Looted the entire Georgipool City, and now it's just the matter that how are they planning to put an exit route to this. The zone is going to shift in within 5 seconds. Let's see when the knock zone closes out. Majority of the teams are yet outside the circle. Team Major Pride, Team Nexus, Team Foot, and the side of SBG. But there we go. It's going to be the hospital and the outskirts of the Gatka region. Shows are still going to be there. 25% of the region still having those water bodies. Makes it a little tough time for the side of the teams to make sure that they get a very good cover or a compound to hold the entire zone. But, like OZAROX Esports are still playing it pretty smart to be held it all the way near the shores.
Yeah, I mean every single team is right now trying to just completely have an edge in this particular matchup. If we talk about BESIKTAS, they might actually fight with MADBULLS because both of those teams have got the 3-man power, so that fight is actually going to be quite auspicious to watch. At the same time, as you can see, FUT Esports along with FLUX Esports with NR, Major Spide and SBG as well are pretty much outside the circle at this point, so definitely they have to approach the circle and then eventually have the upper hand. 13 teams, 43 players, that's what we have left with. Excuse me, on the other corner, like not Pura is actually coming up with a very beautiful flank now. BESIKTAS Esports coming up with some damn good shots onto the players. He's trying to just completely end up the rotations that is coming in on the hospital region. Definitely controlling the hospital region is going to be one of those biggest part for a lot of teams. FUT's Sabian now has been taken now. Sly Esports now trying to actually just completely change the pace of the game. Remember guys, Sly Europe was not at all looking good in the previous matchup, in the previous phase 1. But in this phase, they might just bounce back. They might just have the end game in their favor. FUT Esports, yes, the player was taken down, but eventually, I'm so impressed with FUT Esports right now. Specifically players like the player 4 of that particular team who was able to secure a 1v4 on MELISE Esports' corner. So that was absolutely impressive. MELISE Esports again is not a very small name. It's a huge name in its own community of PUBG. So I would love to see how they're going to perform in the later stages of the tournament. But before that, OZAROX finds another one. That's Nexus who is getting taken down. 2 good players from Nexus already being bashed around. Now it's all about, I guess, Capella, and other than that, we have Octavian in VP. I would love to see what happens. Oh, that need was absolutely close. 3 good free feeds coming in. There are quite a few knockouts as well. Kairos on the other corner also gets taken out by BESIKTAS Esports. So yes, the bloodshed is on. Players are getting picked off. And with that, Octavian also gets finished off that by a vehicle clash, if I'm not wrong. But finally, it was FLUX Esports Lutz who was able to take one down, but eventually the retaliation, look at it. Havlik was picked off, but Lutz at the same time also was picked off at the same point. Now, Soulless becomes the only hope for the team. Performing and doing a 1v4 is a little bit out of question because he does not have the right utilities, he does not have the right scopes. Also, I believe there is a gun with the close combat expertise that is going to be the DBS. On the hindsight, he has also got an M4. Pretty much soon the rotations are going to come in because this is yet the 3rd zone. So yes, the players have the audacity to go ahead and get the revivals done.
At the same time, taking a look after all the 12 teams currently remaining, the zone is once again going to close in, and this is a very difficult one. Either it could go towards the side of REGNUM CARYA or would favor a bit towards the side of Ballistic Esports. Nonetheless, if it goes towards another side, look after the teams which are on the bottom. Well, it favors kind of both of them. It's a very centric shift. It just cuts off the entire water circle. Now, let's see how the teams are going to manage to get themselves in the center of the circle. Meanwhile, team next, RUYA, is going to take down another player. This time it's going to be Major Pride who will be punished. That's the first player of Major Pride who got taken down. They had like a 4-man advantage. You can look after how damaged Nomi is also there. And Nomi and Perfect are in the 2 different corners. And just right between them, it's going to be the players of next RUYA. SBG, after that ridiculous start which they have, not able to just retaliate back. They are still standing strong. The 2 players which are going to be none other than Kashi and Zorob OP looking good, trying to move in with the buggy. Let's see where they are going to end up. This is going to be not an easy one. Meantime, team next to is going to be falling in a very bad spot. Soulless is going to be taken down, so that means that's the end. The 12th spot for the start of Team FLUX Esports. But what did I just saw? It was Team SBG falling down under the waters and the only to be taken down. Zastria is going to go. He is going to take down one. He is going to take down another one. That's Lee Europa, who comes in with the 2 kills for themselves. That's a squad elimination indeed for the start of SBG. Not the most ideal one we could have expected. But hey, we still have so many teams remaining. We have Team 40 Esports having that 4-man advantage. And at the same time, just look after the numbers being added to their kill points.
Not just that, OZAROX Esports is also looking one of those amazing teams like who has the manpower and who has the audacity of getting some amazing finishes in their favor. On the hindsight, after losing one good player against some other team like MP, or should I say Major Sprite, is also trying to formulate a strategy and then eventually come back with some harsh attacks. Yeah, it is going to be a difficult one. Well, the players from Team and are trying to rotate. They are already getting punched up. The spray could have been very decent, but eventually the gun that is there is going to be the DP28. Obviously a good weapon when it comes to the burst shots, but eventually the sprays are not that controllable. The recoil is going to be maximized. I mean, it does decipher when you have a gun with 7.62 ammo. But finally it's done. Oh, that's interesting. Next RUYA has been eliminated. Even after being a dominating team, that team has been eliminated at 10th position. That means no position points whatsoever, just 5 eliminations points. That's where they're going to get. FUT is not at all stopping. They're picking up Sly Europe on the other corner. They're trying to completely shut them down. 9 teams, 31 players. That's what we have at this point, and the 4 zone is already getting compromised. So yes, the attacking formation will rise pretty soon.
Oh yeah, surely. And at the same time, Team Food Esports, they're playing it cautiously. And I love the way how the approach from Team like Food Esports came. They got like a tremendous number of elimination. They could have easily went in, taken in the center, went on for more kills, but now they're playing for the zone. Playing on the edges, they have spotted one of the play, which is going to be reflect from the side of a none other than Slee Europe. REGNUM CARYA, Tron with a good nade. Oh, he needs at the, not at the perfect spot. But hey, there's a knock which he needs to confirm. The 5th kill just right on the way. Goes for another nade. This time it's going to be the Stags. Oh, but look after the retaliation. The answer back also coming in. All the players from Team OZAROX Esports are having nades in their hand. And from the back line, there comes in none other than Monkey Sun, who has been having a nade. Oh, this is just a nade land at this point. Team Major Pride right in the backlines of Team OZAROX Esports. KenZS is going to be demanding for a single nade, but that's not going to happen. As REGNUM CARYA nades is going to find them. And there we go with a self for the 4th zone of the day. The 5th circle is gonna appear. This is gonna be the circle after which you'll expect only top 4 teams or top 5 teams to enter it. But here we go. Team 4 Esports, RUYA Esports, and none other than CD Europe. Still looking good. From the north lines, you also have Team MADBULLS who will be entering. But just right next to them, it's gonna be Team Excuse Me. The fight goes on this time. It's gonna be Foot versus Slee Europe. Oh, the DBS is once again coming in a ridiculous way to end things apart. But just in the hands of Madrid, you also have a DBS, but he gets countered from the counter DBS. Oh man, I think this is not one of those classics which we are seeing, but rather arcade competitive. Pensix coming up with a good knock. It's a 1 versus 1 scenario, but with one final player remaining, he's making sure that he takes each and every one of them down. This is a total disrespect which is coming in from the side of Slee Europe. Oh, the Molly is going to land. Kiros has to be the savior for the side of Team 4 Esports. One player is going to be losing out. There goes another nade. This nade might connect towards the side of Savian. No chance that he goes in and gets those revival. Only chance to win it is going to be winning that 1v1 duel. But the nade does stop it apart, and that's the 10th elimination for the side of Team 4 Esports. But not for too long, as from the back line comes in the side of Team MADBULLS. Oh, it's going to be Major Pride who gets the final nail in the coffin.
It's done, I believe. One of those most aggressive teams is already out of equation. 12 amazing points from their particular perspective, and eventually getting eliminated at 8th position is going to get them the 13th point as well. That means the 1 position points is going to get created for them as well. At the same point, if we talk about the domination, it is also coming in from Sly Europe's perspective. Another team has been eliminated, and it could be Major Pride if I'm not wrong. So yeah, a lot of bloodshed is coming in. Oh, it was Sly Europe who has been picked off at 9th position. At 9th position? Okay, that might be interesting. Oh, Major Pride also get eliminated at the 7th position with just 3 eliminations. That means a total of 4 points is what they're going to get. OZAROX Esports on the other corner is now rotating with an open top US. We know that how much risky it can be, but at the same time, if we talk about RUYA Esports, this could be another MADBULLS. This could be another FET Esports to be precise, because they have the manpower, they have the angles, they can easily shot down a lot of players. But all of this fights is going on in the top lane, in the northern area. I believe we have OZAROX Esports and BESIKTAS trying to play quite peacefully, because they know, let this fight happen, eventually we'll fight with the victor out of this particular fight. So before that, messing around and eventually getting your hands dirty in the fight and eventually getting some good KOs on your face as well is not going to be the best part. BESIKTAS does he finds one on OZAROX Esports, and that is Zephyr, who has been picked up. Now from the back end, BESIKTAS is doing everything that is there in the possible corner to just punch up the players, but obviously they just have to be vigilant enough so that MADBULLS does not come around from the right corner and eventually shut them down.
It's going to be a difficult, but Team REGNUM CARYA, oh, they're right next to Team Excuse Me. They're hearing these actions, they're hearing these movements which is going on. A spray wouldn't be the best option for him, considering the fact that the knock is going to be so difficult one. The retaliation would come in, but this is where the action really comes up. Gets the first one, steals another kill, and he's wanting to go for another one just in a blink of a second. Team Excuse Me is just so down to just one player surviving, and it's a nightmare for them. From the backlines, I think it was none other than RUYA Esports who came in, who brought so much damage, but oh, they're going to be very annoyed after that kill being stolen away from the startup team. REGNUM CARYA and MADBULLS. At the same time, REGNUM CARYA versus Team BRA Esports is also coming in. Wild is gonna lose out to his zone. Oh, BLK is still having, some struggle to get himself some knock or maybe get himself retrieved back. But REGNUM CARYA, they raise the white flag, move out. Loxo, meanwhile, rotating, gets a, vehicle finish from his side to confirm the kill for his team. But nonetheless, this is so well played from the side of REGNUM CARYA. They knew that was a disadvantage. They knew the zone wasn't be in their favor. So they completely go on the opposite side of it, where there's no one for them to contest. Team, left with only one single player, and he's all the way positioned in the center of the circle.
Yep, let's see how that positioning is going to help them at this point. Yes, as you said, the player which is the only hope for the team known as is still stuck in the center. BESIKTAS Esports on the other corner is doing everything that is there in the possible corners to get some good frags, because right now they are just running very low on the terms of the frags, but there are some shots coming in from OZAROX Esports as well. Multiple shots to be precise are coming in from their corner. They do have a 3-man power. They have 7 amazing finishes, so they are looking kind of confident. Would love to see what happens in the later stages, because yes, this is the stage number 6, or should I say zone 6, which is about to get compromised. In the next 2 minutes, we'll get to see what happens in the 7th zone, but before that, I really believe just 3 or 4 teams at max is going to survive. 2 good eliminations will come in, but before that, you can clearly see there is a clash. Bryce versus trying to fight back, and REGNUM CARYA is having tough time trying to retaliate with it. Rally has already been picked off from the back end. It is going to be MADBULLS also trying to slam onto this same vicinity, or should I say same area of terrain. And yes, the clash is coming in. Now the nades might be coming in. Yes, the throwables are being utilized, but let's see how fruitful that throwable can be. REGNUM CARYA is stuck in a tussle right now. Tron has been picked off with the damn good nade coming in, and it is going to be the last man standing, which is Loxio, who has to push forward, who has to either just be a bit more peaceful. At the same time, it is going to be BRYZE Sports' player which is going to steal that finish that was supposed to be in the hands of MADBULLS. But now finally, MADBULLS is stuck with just one player at this point, and BRYZE Sports just have got a second, should I say, chance in this particular game, because they were about to get taken down if MADBULLS would have not stepped in this fight. But yeah, finally, BRYZE Sports is also back in the game with 3-man power, and I would love to see how far they can go with that.
Okay, now it's down to the 14 players. 6 teams surviving. Team MADBULLS still having the numbers advantage. REGNUM CARYA is still hoping to, REGNUM CARYA, one thing they're really good at is when they're down to numbers disadvantage, they'll just hide in a spot. They'll even play the healing battle, but they'll make sure that all the other teams fight up and they at least bring up the top 4, top 3 position. In the last phase, till the very last map, there were 15 maps, out of which 14 first map, they didn't even won the winner chicken dinner, and they were at the number 1 position. The first winner chicken dinner which team REGNUM CARYA won was all the way in the day number 3 in the map number 5, which really shows that how consistent they are in adding these points, not just in elimination but also in placement point, and that is what they're looking to do for one more time. Team REGNUM CARYA do down to 1 HP, but it's going to be difficult for them to just hunt them down. Meanwhile, Nate fall in the way of Swan as he's giving so much audio clue with his vehicle, but now he chooses to fall back with the dip. Oh, Zekshi also has to bring up this buggy, and the 6th zone is going to give them so much damage. Any second you manage to put yourself out in the play circle, it's going to be such a big damage. But wow, the MK headshot lands in a 64 damage to keep things up. But Kiza is going to instantly go behind the Panzers, is going to heal himself up. Zone is going to go in all the way towards a centric northern shift, where and MADBULLS are still looking in a promising direction.
I mean, BESIKTAS Esports is definitely having the angles in their favor. OZAROX is actually going to have the complete control of the southern BOIs, and they're looking good. Oh, that headshot from Kiza's perspective was absolutely amazing. A headshot and a body shot, which is going to leave MADBULLS in a puzzle at this point. But look at BRYZE Sports. A fun final takedown could be coming in. Luxio is going to be the last guy. I believe he has been shot down with that REGNUM CARYA. Unfortunately, he has been picked up. Now, MADBULLS is also coming up with a flash. What is happening? Vehicles are flying here and there. The players are yeah, I mean, every angle is filled with the joys of the fights. And finally, 8 amazing animations coming from OZAROX Esports. Yes, Sapphire has been picked up. Oh, another one is about to get taken down, because look at the sprays. Storm is at very low HP, but still I believe BESIKTAS Esports is completely done and dusted, because they were getting backstabbed from multiple corners, and with that BESIKTAS Esports got out at 5th position without any eliminations. That means just 3 points. Oh, that's sad.
Oh man, I mean, they match number 1, still something better than nothing. REGNUM CARYA meanwhile also gets eliminated. Excuse Me is surviving in the center. How long will Excuse Me survive is a big question. MADBULLS at the same time, oh, that's a perfect nade. But the time was just a second delayed, while FLUX is just gonna run away from that position. MADBULLS with 3-man advantage. Tilka is gonna come in and take down Kiza. So this is an important fight. I think MADBULLS, at this point, they eliminate the side of Team BRA Esports. they would surely confirm themselves the winner chicken dinner, and that's what seems to be happening because they were the only team which were looking good to contest against them. And with that, team BRA Esports get eliminated at the third spot to that nade from the start of Tilka. Now it's down to a 3 versus 2. Let's see if Team OZAROX Esports would be good enough to fight back, because the zone is completely left open in the farm positions, and all the players from MADBULLS are really confirmed for a fact that this ain't a 3v1v1. This is a clear 3 versus 2 scenario, and they're already going in for the hunt. The first player gets spotted towards the side of the entire, like airdrop position, but where is the second player? Some Ringer Rosie is going on. FLUX gets a kill out of a Bison. That is just illegal. Did he just drop out of his vehicle and take him apart? I mean, that is so unstoppable of him. And now only one player remaining, which is going to be OZAROX Storm.
I'm more than happy to see my first prediction coming in true in this phase 1, to be honest. Phase 2, to be precise. Yeah, moving forward, once again, Telika is also trying to push forward. OZAROX Esports now have the idea where the player is, and with that information, Telika gets picked off. That was a damn good AE3 spray coming in, but unfortunately, I don't think so. He's going to spot Telika. Okay, yes, he does. But that nade could actually end the story, and with that nade, a spray also comes in, and that's it. A chicken dinner coming in from MADBULLS perspective. Total 15 points is what they're going to get. They might not be the table topper because there were quite a few other teams which were performing exceptionally well, which had finishes as well in their favor, be it OZAROX Esports or even BESIKTAS Esports. Oh no, BESIKTAS Esports went out way too early at 5th position with just 0 points in elimination. So yeah, there might be some other teams like REGNUM CARYA could be one, or OZAROX Esports could be one. Yes, all in all, a very commendable job done from MADBULLS perspective. They were quite sneaky. They went out in the Yasnaya region and then eventually rotated from their particular vicinity. They tried to control the Georgiapol region, but then eventually they moved forward to the southwest city, and then eventually came back to the Gadka 6 houses. From their angle, they were able to fight back, and eventually now the second position is going to be in the favor of team known as MADBULLS. 1374 is the right amount of damage that they were able to dish out. So yes, there was a lot of damage coming in. They were the one which was able to just completely shut down REGNUM CARYA's domination. Also, RUYA Esports also went out from their hands. OZAROX at the end also gets taken down. If I talk about the highest fragger of this particular team, it is again going to be Telika. Once again, these guys are trying to become the MVP from the start, the overall MVP to be precise. I'm actually excited to see Frozen also doing this job, but Frozen went out way too early, I believe, and eventually due to that reason, he was unable to get any kind of frag, although he had 206 amount of damage.
Well, let's see how situation now looks like in the overall scorecard. FUT Esports had 13. So, that is still some number to count. I mean, they win a chicken dinner, but with 5 elimination, 15 points, and then at the same time, you have Team FUT Esports who have 13 points, as you mentioned. 8th position for them with 12 total kill points, which completely is like a buffer of only 2 points. So, I mean, that is still interesting, given the head start which they had, but this was a complete battleground, if you ask me. From the moment the players stepped inside the zone, from the moment the players stepped down towards the ground, it was a total war zone going all around the place. From the very starting, team elimination came in, all the players started to get some kill, and it all the way went in towards the same zone where the fight eventually started, near the Gadka farm and the western regions, and that's where it even ended it. But this time it was in the favor of Team MADBULLS. Nonetheless, Team OZAROX, who managed to complete a distance of 10,000 meters. I mean, that is just ridiculous. Team REGNUM CARYA at the same time, they had some good promising run. There were many risky spots where they were on the verge of elimination, especially between the fight against ARR. But Swan is going to indeed be the one who brought his team the hashtag to position, is going to be the MVP for the entire match number 1 with 5 total elimination, 1,043 damage, 9 throwable use and 4 assists, which is completely out of the mind. Like, this player could have done a 1v3 right there. He had bought the first knock, but nonetheless, it was a little difficult for him to get the 2 more. But nonetheless, it's the first game itself. And looking after all of the teams, especially, Team FUT Esports stepping up, Team NEXUS Esports stepping up. These are the teams who weren't looking that promising. It was the same names which you were seeing all the way towards the top 5 position. But taking a look after the match summary, the highest elimination does stay for CARYA, and that 1v3 which is single-handedly there to drop down each and every player from the starting MELISE Esports was just incredible. Then you have Swan, the highest damage, highest assist goes in towards the side of Luxio. From the side of team none other than REGNUM CARYA. From Major Pride is going to be Nomi with highest healing, and then it's going to be CARYA once again with 5 knockouts.
Oh yeah, the scorecard is looking quite good. In the match summary, we can clearly see, or should I say, clearly have an idea of how the performance went out and eventually who had the upper hand at the end. This is the match summary. I'm actually looking forward to see what is going to happen in the match ranking as well. So let's have a clear idea about that as well. Match ranking will be coming in anytime soon, and with that we will have an insight who was the highest scorer in that individual matchup, and that will actually give us the clear idea of who is the topper in the overall standing as well. Oh, it's OZAROX Esports. Second position is what they are going to get, and eventually, despite of that, they were able to get 12 amazing animations, and that is how they were able to sum up with 18 points, which is again quite impressive. MADBULLS on the other corner was able to get a chicken dinner, but their lack of finishers is going to put them at the second position in the overall standing and also in the match ranking. Total of 15 points is what they're going to have. FUT Esports with 12, REGNUM CARYA with 10, and excuse me, with 8 points. BRA Esports, or BRA Esports should I say, is going to get 8 points. NR with 5, Sly Europe with 5 as well. Major Sprite with 4 points. BESIKTAS Esports with 3. Quite a few teams were there with just 1 point. That is like GAIMIN, GLADIATORS, ARR, FLUX, and SBG as well. There were 2 other teams like I guess it was MELISE Esports which went out way too early without any frags. So again, those are the 2 teams. Those are the few teams which surprised us a lot. But eventually, the longest elimination came from excuse me's Black 1111, and the 4 airdrops were looted. 10,241 was the total amount of healing that was done. 61 total knockers to be precise. 160 throwables were utilized. 13 headshots and 15 rescues is what we have in this phase 2 day number 1 match number 1. Remember guys, 14 more matches to go. So yes, things can be quite tipsy-turvy, and I'm looking forward to it. Overall ranking, yes indeed, OZAROX Esports is going to be on top with 18 amazing points. MADBULLS now have 15. FUT Esports already jumping a lot with 12 points at last. REGNUM CARYA, from the start they're trying to be consistent, and I've said this enough time. Due to the current point distribution system, in 5 matches if you have 50 points, you are more than decent.
Oh, I totally agree with you on that. I think after first day, we had like 2 teams. One was all the way up at 54. It was Team FLUX on the back of the 2 winner with a chicken dinner they had. And Team SBG had like 50 points. So like, having 50 points in just 5 games, it's completely out of the mind. At the same time, one more thing which we'd like to share is that Team REGNUM CARYA, who were the winners of the phase 1, they had 165 points in 3 days. Each and every match, they had an average of 11 points. Which itself shows that, that is so consistent. Like at this point, this points table is really being a very ridiculous thing for you if you're not getting those, like zone advantages or say the numbers advantages when it comes towards your fight, capitalizing on your elimination. But with that being consistent, adding 11 points is not that easy. Major Pride is going to be the one at the 9th spot with 4 points. Didn't really expect them, but in the bottom lines, it's going to be Team NEXUS, GAIMIN, GLADIATORS, and Team MELISE. So I think it wasn't the brightest start for them. The drop clashes, which we saw, was just out of the mind. I think, all the way towards Fairy Pair. Then we had Frozen getting his movements, who was doing like almost a 1v3 there for the start of GAIMIN GLADIATORS. But we are going to talk all of these things apart in the short break itself. As we move on for a short break, on Sunday, we'll see you guys in the second of Miramar. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ruthless Europe Invitational. After the first banger game, where we eventually saw very nice, like also domination and a winner chicken dinner for the side of Mad Bulls. Now we have 4 more games remaining. Now, coming up next is going to be the map of Miramar, and already Raider has got that first prediction right. Man, I'm thinking that you might hit double digits by the end of the phase 2.
Maybe that can actually happen. But yeah, map 1 Erangel. Moving forward, we do have the Miramar coming into the play, and obviously, when Miramar comes in, quite a few players are going to predict like FLUX Esports could actually come back with the chicken dinner. But for me, I really believe right now in phase number 2, things might not be that fruitful for FLUX Esports. Maybe some other team is going to bag it out. So for me, this particular prediction, I'll give you this chance. I'll give this chance up on which particular team you are going to choose.
I think I might go all the way towards the side of BESIKTAS esports. I not want to go in obvious towards Fireflies. Wanna, have my wild guesses on towards these random teams. But what's your thought on that?
REGNUM CARYA. I'll go for REGNUM CARYA in this match. And yeah, indeed,
Right.
BESIKTAS Esports is again a very good pick, no doubt in that. But they were able to be quite pacifistic. I guess performing team and one of those teams which is trying to actually go for the chicken dinner is a different thing. That's what we are actually expecting at this point. There are quite a few teams which are trying to go just for the finishes, and there are a few teams which are trying to hunt down the placement points. One of those teams is BESIKTAS Esports for sure. MADBULLS eventually in the previous matchup also did the same. On the hindsight, we had teams like FUT Esports. If you pick them, obviously you might actually expect that there is going to be a lot of clash, a lot of fights that they actually are going to come up with. But yeah, moving forward, match number 2 of Miramar is already getting started. Your casters are ready and up for sure. We are going to tell you how the story of this map unfolds, and it is starting from Los Rigos. It is going towards Campo Militar. Again, a very good diner flight path coming in, but let's see if the flight path is edgy. What about the play zone as well? Is the play zone going to go all the way towards El Pozo, or is it going to be a Los Angeles play zone, or maybe a central one where San Martin could be the home where multiple teams could actually jump in? Now, excuse me, have already jumped in towards the Wala del Mar region, I believe. And along with them, we do have gaming gladiators jumping in a close vicinity, but they're trying to be spread apart. They are spreading in multiple compounds and eventually then trying to have the advantage out of it. MADBULLS again playing a very safe game, trying to approach the Puerto region, which is again a good thing. I would love to see Impala. I would love to see Picardo as well, because Picardo is again a very good place to take up clashes. But I really doubt that there is going to be a clash, because REGNUM CARYA is already going to jump there. Along with them, there might be some other teams also jumping. Seems like that there could be 3 teams jumping in the vicinity.
Oh yeah, I think teams Lee Europe and BRA Esports have been always having this clash, which is kind of unfortunate, and it always goes in the favor of Team BRA, which is just a thing which you might call unfortunate for team like Sylvie. But let's see how it goes. I think one of the teams who loves to go towards Picardo back again, it's gonna be Foot. And yeah, as you mentioned, like Fireflux versus Foot is somewhere which happens, near Picardo and San Martin. But the first fallen body comes in. This time it's unfortunate again, Team SLB. Now, this is happening really bad. It doesn't advantage either side of the team, but 3 knockouts from the side of Team BRA, and that leaves 1 solo player. It's gonna be all down to Pedinchik. And let's see if he could really manage to do a 1v3. He has a shotgun, but it's just gonna be not good for anything, and that's a squad elimination. As I mentioned, that's the case always for the side of Team Lee Europa, who doesn't even want to contest yet in another zone. Meantime, if you talk about the side of Team Foot versus Team SBG, this fight has mostly gone a little 70-30, but I think SBG is having a little stronghold here. They have managed to take down the first player, will retrieve their fallen player Kashi, and the 3-man standing Team Foot is right in the face-to-face fight in a 3 versus 4.
And yeah, at this point, after getting the loss of 1 good player, I believe FUT Esports might not have the kind of control that they were having in the previous matchup. If you guys remember, they were able to get 12 finishes, if I'm not wrong, 12 or 11 finishes, I guess, somewhere around that. But yeah, in this particular matchup, it won't be that easy, because obviously losing 1 good player is easily going to shake their momentum. And look at the guns that they have. A sort of shotgun, and along with that, he has the pistol, so he can pick either of it, and he's going to actually go with the P92, and once again trying to rotate, gets trapped a lot. Definitely that hefty damage is actually going to scare him a lot. At the same point, if we talk about Akashi to be precise, he has been revved, he has been back in the game, but eventually the first tickets are not yet there, because it was way too early. It was quite early when he got knocked out. Now let's see what RAP7 is going to do. RAP7 is going to be another amazing guy who loves to perform, who loves to outperform, should I say, quite a few teams. And it won't be easy, that's for sure. But yes, the play zone is going to get restricted in another 30 seconds. So the timer is ticking. and there is going to be some more shifts in the play zone. But we have 15 teams and 59 players. Is there already a squad elimination?
Yeah, I think so. Europe got unfortunately eliminated, and which was like, I hope that from the next Miramar they do manage to think some good options for themselves. First game was really good. Like, they came all the way a little up, but after being eliminated at such an early point, a little unfortunate at the same time. But let's see how this fight eventually pans out. Because see, if you're in San Martin, if you're in Picado, you have like 8 minutes being a fearless, about the play zone. You can entirely play in, you can hold in, you can camp, you can defend, you can loot, you can do everything in those 7 minutes if you are towards San Martin and Picado. But once those minute passes, that's where the zone is, where the tricky situation comes in. And what? Wall is all the way in the back lines, and that's where Team Mellis is going to take him down. Oh man, that was just a little unfortunate scenario. And Team 40 Sportsman now realize that now it's an equal 3 versus 3 scenario. This would have been the time which could be so advantageous because Kiros, as we mentioned, is also low a little on HP unless he got a bandage. But let's see for how long does this fight goes on, because one team which will definitely have a big advantage out of all of this seems to be none other than Team Melis's Esports.
Yeah, I mean, they're on the back ends. They are controlling the Hacienda Hill, and from that particular angle, they were able to get one frag, and they might actually get 1 or 2 frags more. So yes, it's good to see them performing the way they are performing. Eventually, in the previous matchup, if you guys remember, Melis Esports was one of those teams which was taken down by FUT Esports. So I guess they are just returning the favors. That's good. That's good. The way they are performing, the way they are trying to actually come up with some of the retaliation is kind of decent. I would love to see how Melis Esports is going to come up with some decent frags in their favor, because CORTR is there, Lewis is there. Okay, every single guy that I usually hear from Melis Esports is already present in this particular team. We have to watch out for Poser and both Kisyu, because these are the two players which are actually renowned to be a bit more aggressive. Now, Kairos has been taken down from SPG's perspective. With that, the upper hand is actually going to be there in SPG's perspective, but after losing Galvatron, I believe, Narvalo to be precise, after losing him, obviously the risky fights aren't looking that good for this team as well. But let's see what SPG is capable of. The more space, the more brutals have been used. Oh, the gun is on reload, and this could be the moment where the knockout could actually come in. But before that, Kairos also gets ready to have a very good FPV push coming in, and that could be it. Ah man, that's it. FUT Esports also goes out of the equation. Now all of this ruckus, all of those shots are already been becoming the audio cues for this particular team, Melis Esports. They could actually decide to go ahead and push forward, but before that happens, they have to become one. And I'm actually by saying that, I really mean that they have to come close to each other. They have to become as a team and then eventually push forward, because right now they are way too scattered. A lot of players are there on Hacienda's Hill, some other are there on the back end, so deciding and pushing at this point is easily one of those things which can backfire onto them. But yeah, ARR Esports, again a team which is pretty much outside the circle. In the previous matchup, they were unable to get even a single point. I mean, just 1 point was here, which is again not a good thing. So yeah, later in this particular matchup, I would love to see them outperforming every other team. So I am looking forward to see how that happens. CEO on the other corner, along with Lewis, is obviously avoiding a lot of shots on SBG, but there is nothing as fruitful, to be honest. Even if they get the knockout, there is going to be a situation where the revival will come in before Melis Esports is going to touch up the area where SBG is already residing.
Exactly, and with that, taking a look after the circle as it's gonna close on within 70 seconds, team REGNUM CARYA completely going out open, and just right next to them in the opposite hill, it's gonna be the side of Team BR Esports. Now, if he conducts a fight here, it's not the most ideal position for him to fight, given the fact that he's all by himself. MADBULLS are going to be out of the zone. It's going to be Team Ballistas also out. ARR also will be a little out of the zone, so they have to make sure that they zone in as soon as possible. First zone has been really the most solid zone, I think, in PUBG Mobile. You barely get any damage. If you have a vehicle, you can just quickly take your own time to get yourself some loot, and then by the time the second zone actually forms up, you can then start to rotate. It's just a matter of one first aid and few energy drink. You've been full on boosters to keep yourself healthy and not in sort of any dangerous position to die in. But MADBULLS at the same time, the rotations are coming in. They're almost coming inside the circle, and it's such a good scenario for them that with the Mirada they can totally go towards the southern region, totally being fearless if there's anyone to even contest. As you can see, most of the teams are all the way towards the top and the right region. Team, SVG has won their fight, which has been one of the rare scenarios. You don't see that usually. Zone almost goes all the way towards a position where there's the least number of team. It goes towards the Mon Noveo and Shimachara region. Only I think three teams are there. Team OZAROX Esports, Team I think excuse me, and Team FF, which is FLUX. So with these three teams, now Picardo is also going to be rushed out of the entire equation. So REGNUM CRYA has to move in. Major Pride and Team Gaming Gladiators might have a fight, and Team MADBULLS all the way coming down from bottom. They're taking the long route to rotate from the bottom, from outside the circle, to go all the way towards the western side.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, a lot of teams are trying to rotate on the western edges of this particular map because of the shift that is there. So, indeed, the second play zone is looking chaotic. In just for 10 seconds, the shift is going to get started. So, multiple teams are already in the move, be it MELISE Esports or REGNUM CARYA or some other team which are outside the circle, like BESIKTAS Esports, ARR, and RUYA. Yeah, the performance is something I'm actually looking forward to. But before that happens, I guess the initial clashes are pretty much over now. The second play zone might not be that chaotic, but the fact is, this hard shift in the zone might actually find one or two picks as well. One or two squad fights could actually happen in the zone rotational clashes, but eventually after that, I believe from the third play zone, there is going to be one hell of a clash coming in, and with that clash, I would absolutely love to see some squads being fallen down and some players will outperform or maybe come up with a 1v3, 1v4. OZAROX Esports on the other corner decided to actually come up with some shots onto the players of MELISE Esports. Well, it was not that easy, but eventually BESIKTAS Peace on the other corner is going to find one from Team ARR as well. So yeah, multiple picks are now coming in. BESIKTAS, even after controlling the way they controlled in the previous matchup, like 5 is the position where they were. Excuse me is also coming up with some good points, like Gaming Gladiators is already coming up with a fight with them as well. BESIKTAS is going to finally have their first pick. I guess this is good enough, but yes, they have to come up with a squad wipe so that they can have a comfortable angle. But no, it won't be that easy. Son HP has been taken down by Matrix.
Oh yeah, and now the bodies are still falling, and that is being a little difficult scenario, because if you'll see Team ARR, it's going to be a real difficult situation for them to retrieve all the way. They are already outside the circle. Havoc runs out of bullet. That's such an unfortunate timing for him. But from the backline, someone gives an enormous cover, and that's going to be, excuse me, Furia, who will take down the last player. Oh, it's unfortunate for Team Gaming Gladiators, but somewhere down the line, excuse me, yet again manage to survive. They stand strong towards the top 4 position, and this team, excuse me, is really looking a promising one. And so does, I'll say, for the side of Team BRA. They always had the numbers advantage. Just look at them again. They had the 4-man, but with that 4-man, they're executing the fights. And even after first game, the way they managed to get, like, almost like 4 to 6 number of, finishes, it's incredible. But Belarus Esports this time is in a little bit struggle, as Team ARR is also taking them down. I think there was yet another team who were just pushing down the players of Team Ballistas. So let's see how they're going to retrieve those 2 fallen players. SBG is all the way towards the northern side. There's yet another team who is all the way towards the top right position. So these long rotations are being really unfortunate. But MADBULLS versus the Sara team, excuse me, this is going to be a fight worth watching.
Oh yeah, definitely have to see how that fight actually is going to get opened up. But seems like that players are trying to actually fall back a lot rather than taking up the fight, which is again a good thing. Because then we will have the later stages filled with a lot of chaos and a lot of fight will be happening in that particular stage as well. At the same time, if we talk about MADBULLS individually, this team is also looking quite comfortable. The way they are rotating, the way they are comfortably finding those angles. They are pretty close to the Monte Nuevo region. But in order to take up a fight, they have to have the right ridges, they have to have the right information as well, because if they peek on Chumasara's northwestern corner, they might actually get shot on from the northeastern corner. So it can actually happen from the light and rep corner. There might be some amazing space coming in. Indeed, Miramar is a very open-ended map, but wherever you have covers, those are very fatal covers. If you don't check them out, you can actually lose a lot of blood. Maybe the whole squad can be taken down at the same time period. But moving forward, RUYA Esports, after taking down some amazing 4 finishes, they are still trying their level best to be that hungry team, full of finishes, full of amazing points in their favor. Look at that, 12 points is already credited in their favor. They are at the 3rd position in the overall leaderboard. The other teams like OZAROX Esports and MADBULLS, which are on top and the runner-up position, both of them are also there with the kind of decent manpower, and they don't have any kind of loss at this point, so they can also bounce back a lot. In order for RUYA Esports and also, excuse me, to just bounce back and be on top, they have to just focus a bit more on the elimination of OZAROX Esports and MADBULLS. Well, it won't be easy, but for sure, that is the only thing which is going to help them to boost up to the top 2 positions.
Well, let's see how now the encircle is going to look like, because eventually I'd still see one team, SVG, who are coming all the way towards the La Cobria. moving in towards El Pozo and then coming inside the circle. They haven't yet made it in. If you take a look after ARR, it's been like what, like 5 more minutes? They haven't yet came inside the zone. OZAROX Esports is looking all the way up towards the top position and still struggling up to get inside the third circle. We have 45 players remaining. With that, 13 teams are also surviving. But somewhere down the line, the team with the least disadvantage at this point, if I'll say, are the teams with having 4 man up. I think Ballistis is down to 1, ARR is down to 1, and that's unfortunate. As BG meantime will get taken down, and that's the fight which is happening all the way outside the circle. Let me remind you. So this is unfortunate to retrieve back. Victor is the only guy surviving in the burst. Now he has either an option to kill him or an option to retrieve his fallen teammate, and that's what he chooses, the right decision. So this is going to be a little down to the timing. Victor gets himself spotted up, but what, he still manages to fight back. The zone is yet going to eat him up, but does it? Oh yeah, it does. Oh, but he gets the final kill before the zone gets him down. Oh man, that was so close as ever it could get. And before the zone gets him after that pixel HP, he finalizes that kill. This DBS. Now Team RUTHLESS Esports is once again down to only one player because the third party indeed comes in. And with that, Team RUTHLESS Esports with only one player, let's see how long till they get inside the safe circle.
I mean, this is good. OZAROX Esports now is trying to perform, but yet they're actually falling down. So it really means that teams like MADBULLS, Braz, and eventually, along with REGNUM, CARYA has the potential to actually bounce back and eventually dethrone that particular team. Obviously, they had 20 points right now. And they might actually secure some more points in this particular battle. If they go close to like 25 points, it will be more than enough. In 2 individual matches, they will be decent. They will be consistent as well, to be honest. But yes, FLUX Esports. Miramar is a map where they just love to outperform every single team, and at this point they have got the northeastern territory in their favor, which is good. Pretty soon the circle will shift, and pretty soon the teams will be in the closer circuit, and at that point maybe they will be stuck between and also Major Sprite. So that could be the moment where FLUX Esports could actually take down, could actually be taken down, because they have the utils, they have the angles. Pretty soon those angles and utils are going to be not that fruitful. But to be honest, BESIKTAS Esports, look at them. 3 good eliminations in their favor in this particular matchup, but OZAROX unfortunately has been eliminated at 11th position with just 2 frags in their favor. That means a grand total of 20 points is what they're going to get in this particular matchup. I was expecting like 25 points, somewhere around like that, but eventually no, that's not the case. Yes, the losses are coming in. FLUX are also not being unscathed. They're getting punched up n number of time from perspective as well, and also NEXUS is trying to be a bit more harmful onto them. On the hindsight, MELISE Esports, which went out way too early in the previous battle, is still surviving with the full manpower. So they will be one of those, should I say, unformidable forces to fight with in the later stages of the game.
Completely, and that would have been a clean knock. But once again, I think the MELISE is going to be a tough time for them to get in the circle, especially given the fact that it's all the way towards the bottom eastern side. MADBULL meantime is going to be just denying Team NEXUS, as you can see. Frozen is still being up. Gets a domination of total 5 elimination. And I mean, this is once again looking good for Team as they're welcoming these fights. And it's like, as you mentioned later, that points table really favors you to get inside those fights, get those kill points, instead of just surviving in the end and getting eliminated at the top 4 position. All of that for just 3 points is just worth nothing. If you get yourself up in a 4v4 fight, you'll get more points than what you'll get in being at the top 4. But now, Team Ballistis is just right next to Team BRA. Is just right there to deny each and every team. Meantime, will take down one of the players from Team NEXUS, and Kapala is instantly going to get eliminated. Which means that now Team NEXUS is going to be playing with only, I believe, 2 players standing. They're all the way towards bottom. They haven't yet got the first point yet. Each and every team has managed to get the first point on board. But Team NEXUS still looking for one. We have the top 10 teams. Let's see where the next circle is going to shift in. As within 10 seconds, we are going to see up the next circle. Meantime, it's going to be Ameshra who gets spotted. Furia has taken a hard peek on him with his M4, 4x. But the smoke might kind of deny him. It's a very tough spot for him to get any sort of spray. But let's see if the spam is just promising and is at the very right time. The spam does comes in, but Orisa just waits in for him to get on a reload. The zone goes in towards the bottom right Chumashara position, and with that, it's gonna be the side of REGNUM, CARYA, Team MADBULLS, Team NEXUS, and Team BRA being inside the circle. So the only teams being out is gonna be Team MELISE, Team RUYA, and one of the player Frozen. So I think this is a very steady zone for any team to get inside the circle. The only problem is that any team coming out from the zone inside the circle won't have like any cover for themselves.
Yeah, that could be the case, but it's looking like FLUX Esports is having a tough time against Major Pride, and there was already a knockout coming in, and with that knockout, obviously Soul is going to get taken down. Cash is there on the back end. We do have Soulless also trying to perform, or should I say outperform the players of Major Pride, but eventually Lutz also gets taken down. Yes, as I said, this particular map, or should I say phase number 2, is not going to be that advantageous for them as it was in the previous phase 1, because yes, teams are now ready with the attacking formation. Now they have the idea why they were losing against FLUX Esports in the previous battle. Now Kesh is going to come up with a 1v1 on Dino sides. Yes, Dino won't be able to actually showcase his talent at this point because he's going to fall back. He's going to be bit more pushy, and he's not going to let the other guy revive his teammate. If the revival comes in, maybe they're going to bounce back a lot, but before that, another finish comes in, and that is going to be Dino, who has been picked off. So with that, Soulke has been out of equation. Now the other guy was already getting the revival. It was Soulless and Lutz working their way. Kane, I guess there is going to be a push. Again, there might be some other challenges coming in, but still, the job is not over yet. Soulless now has been picked off, which is again a good thing by Nomi's perspective. Two good players are still surviving. Let's see how far will they be able to establish the connection. Although the nades coming in from the other corner are also quite fatal. If one nade gets connected, obviously a lot of things can actually go out of the equation. You can clearly see Dino got attacked with that nade and was very low on his HP. REGNUM CARYA on the other corners are also trying to perform. Now they have got the first finishers and they might actually push forward a lot, but MELISE was unfortunate, and that is the harsh reality where they have been taken down. Two good finishers for REGNUM CARYA out of it, and two good finishers for some other team known as MADBULLS. So yeah, all in all, a very decent play coming up for both the teams.
Oh wow, perfect. Meantime, takes down Soulless as well. So I mean, Team FLUX now pushed down towards only 2 players. Now there comes the final circle. One more team remaining, out of which every other team will at least secure a single placement point after they make in the top 8 position. But with Ketch also getting Lutz also getting taken down, Ketch is the final player remaining, and it's a difficult situation if you are Team FLUX. Oh, good spray onto the side of Clone. The M44X is just looking wonders, but Ketch meantime is going to confirm the kill of Yekta OP. So that's another point being added away from the side of Team FLUX. FLUX was one of the team who used to own in these maps, you know, like Miramar was their playground. But today, that's just not the brightest start for them. Oh, he spots out a pixel and Sketch. In the meantime, Flex does manage to get a chunk of damage out of that. He's rushing out of the buggy, and it's not going to be an easy task for him. Frozen is going to be down to only 10 HP, so he does not look to overcome it. Fetch meantime just closes things down. Another circle is going to come in just right within some seconds down the line, and it goes all the way towards the center circle. Meanwhile, Ketch is still looking strong, has not yet denied the hope. He gets the first one, and it's unfortunate if you're team next RUYA, because out of all the 4 players now it's down to only 1, and Wolf have to make sure that he denies Ketch from getting a 1 versus 4 right now, right here. Because being that one solo player, he has taken 2 players who were looking for those individual duels. He spots Ketch out, but Ketch is now running out of util. And with no grenades, no util, let's see if he could manage to win this fight up against the Startup Wolf. Nonetheless, both of these teams are down to solo players, so for a fight is indeed going to be a risky one. From the back lines, Team Major Pride is also coming in, slowly, steadily continuing into the play circle. But it's only 3 seconds remaining, and this is where the zone is also going to start to close down. Might have spotted down Cage, but oh, he's not yet looking at the right direction. And with that, now he realizes that this is not a fight worth fighting for. He has to give priority to the zone, given the fact that he has a numbers advantage. But now the 1v1 comes in. It's going to be Wolf going up against Ketch.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if we talk about the angles and if we talk about the anticipation, like just 9 teams in 24 places surviving, so it definitely demands a lot of angle to be covered up with. Kesh is going to come up with a need, but before that need gets connected, I believe there is going to be another set of spray. Next year might just get eliminated with that spray, and yes, that's exactly what is happening. That micro Uzi shot was absolutely amazing. Yeah, a very good shot, a very good anticipation coming in from the players of FLUX Esports. 4 amazing finishes is what they are going to have in this particular matchup, but still a long way to go for a chicken dinner. And I really believe chicken dinner is not going to come in Major Pride, which started, that team particularly which started the domination on FLUX Esports, is going to be ending the last player as well in their favor. With that, FLUX Esports got eliminated at #A. That means 1 position points and 4 for the eliminations overall. At 7th position is what this team is going to reside. But BESIKTAS might actually bounce back and nail more and more points in their favor. But I'm surprised to see NEXUS still surviving with just a single player in their favor. I don't know where he is, but unfortunately, he is still yet unable to find even a single pick, and I really believe the thing is going to remain same. Maybe he's going to take 1 or 2 players down by surprise, or maybe he's going to do a third party, or maybe a knocked out player can actually be finished off by the guy. But that spray from Dino's perspective was absolutely amazing. With that, now I guess the thing that we never expected at this point was coming true, and that is the push coming from Major Spide on REGNUM CARYA. I was not at all expecting this thing to actually happen, but now fortunately this is what we are going to get. BESIKTAS Esports also gets eliminated at #6. 6 teams, 21 players, that's what we have right now. All the teams which are surviving are either left with 4-man power, or the only guy which is there without the 4-man power is going to be the NEXUS Esports.
Oh, it's looking a bit, like scattered at the same time. If you are, like all the way the side of team REGNUM CARYA, because all the players are just so apart from each other. I mean, this could be an easy knock coming in, and there's no retaliation. But somewhere down the line from the backlines, Wild gives a good cover fire. But somewhere, helps Wolf to get himself healed up. The zone is closing in. Last time it was a centric shift, so this time it's going to be one of those hard shifts which I really expect. Let's see, where is this zone going to go in? Oh, it goes a little bit towards the central eastern side, but nonetheless, Zelikin is going to get taken down. Team REGNUM now surviving with only 3 players. I think revival could indeed come in, but let's see if that revival is indeed going to be promising enough or no. Perfect is just right there in the very right spot for the flank. Wild and looks like they have a pickup truck, so they could really get an exit here from the eastern side, from the places where you can already see Team MADBULLS going off. But what is Monkey Sun doing all the way back there? Like, look after the map control, which, the entire team of Major Pride is having. They completely know which all teams are there in which all corners of the position. And with having these 4-man advantage, they are playing a very good setup. One player behind another one, and no one putting themselves in any sort of risky spot. Like, they are playing it pretty smart. Meanwhile, Furia is going to be the one who gets the first point of contact. He gets the first knock. The revival has to come in through the start of excuse me. Meanwhile, Zilcon is going to get the kill confirmation. So that pulls Team REGNUM CARYA down to only 3 players.
I guess 2 players, to be honest. Yeah, those are the last 2 players which are still surviving on the back end. One good player has been taken down out of the shack. Another one also got sprayed down on the back end. So I guess Major Pride is having a very good time at this point, putting down the players from REGNUM CARYA. But let's see how far they can go. Okay, Monkey Sun finally has been taken down. So the direction, or should I say the angles that was there from the place of Major Pride are now going to get shifted, because they have to come up with a revival, and that's exactly what they're trying to come up with. There's going to be a revival. Excuse me, on the other corner is also pretty much focused on taking on the players of that particular team. So most players are going to be there. They are trying to eliminate RUYA Sports, and it won't be easy, to be honest, but Havlik finds another one. With that, the opening is still looking good. Remember, this is a 7th zone coming in. It is a very chaotic, it is a very hefty zone, to be precise, talking about at this point. It is an unstoppable momentum coming in from, excuse me, the way they are performing exceptionally well. REGNUM CARYA's one more player has been taken down. It is going to be Lokshio, if I'm not wrong, who has been picked off. The last hope for the team is still actually on the back end. Just 2 frags for this particular team. Major Pride is also trying to come up with a controlling stand in this point. Lokshio gets taken down. With that, another guy, Wild 77K, has been taken down. So finally, MADBULLS has been out of equation, is out of equation, to be precise now.
Oh man, this is going to be a little difficult one indeed, because the team Major Pride, they do have the advantage of 4-man, but just right next to them, team excuse me, we have been having the game of this entire tournament. 11 total kills for the start of team excuse me, as they look to grab the #1 position. Team MADBULLS will lose yet another player, so this is going to be a little unfortunate. Flake might get caught in the fire. The line of fire was so perfect. Pino, meantime, manages to get away with Luca. Oh, Team MADBULLS, they're down to only 1 single player, which is going to be frozen. But he's so good in the perfect position. And wow, Pino, he is just doing a magical play right here. Oh, the kill is not yet confirmed, but the nade will do the job. And with that, 11 kills for the start of Team Major Pride as well. We are talking about Team excuse me, having that double-digit numbers, but now it's down to a 4 versus 3. As the revival comes in. If it does not, then it's a 3v3, but both the teams, one with 12, one with 11, it's the fight for winner with chicken in, and Furia already spots one out. One thing which is good about Major Pride is they know how to play well while they are in a big split. And Perfect, after being down to such a low HP, he already gets taken down to the nade, falls victim of it, and now Pino from the backline. Let's see how he's going to manage. The loot is really not that great for the start of Furia. Perfect gets confirmed with a nade. Now Team Major Pride will be playing with only 2 players in a 2 versus 4 scenario.
Yep, the last story of Hope are already there. There is going to be another need coming in for Big Side. I believe he's going to come up with some damn good throwables. At the same time, we do have a lot of smokes coming into the base. For his pixel that is visible is the one where these guys are trying to come up with a spray. But finally, once again, Havlik has an idea where the player might be. Some more mollies, some more utils are getting utilized at this point. The DBS are coming in. That was a damn good nade coming from Nomi's perspective. With that nade, definitely the opening is going to get created. It's a 2v3 scenario where it is possible. It is really possible for the players of Major Spy to completely take the control and eventually set up the players of team Excuse Me. They can actually be excused. But yeah, I'm actually impressed to see this kind of formation coming in from Excuse Me's perspective, because this could be a 25-pointer chicken dinner, or maybe I guess in both the cases this could be a 25-pointer chicken dinner, because right now currently Major Spy is stuck at 11 points. If they are able to eliminate all the players coming from the enemy territory, they can easily have the 25 points bomber. But yeah, the clashes are coming in. 2 good plays have been picked off. It's all about the last 2 plays. Oh, what? A 1v3, a 1v4 is about to come in. This is looking like a possible match. This is looking like a possible 1v4. Oh, unfortunately, yes, he was way too close. But due to that risk disadvantage, and also due to the lack of ammo on the MP45, he had to switch to the M4. And yeah, even though you are switching the gun, I guess for a second your whole aim gets disorientated, because you are ready with that kind of anticipation that the MP45 is going to have that kind of recoil, or this much of a recoil has to be there. I'm going to rotate my phone this much, I'm going to use my gyro this much. But eventually when you actually switch up the gun in this kind of fight where already a 1v1 is going on, you are this close to having a chicken dinner, that much pressure is on the player, then I believe just controlling that weapon for the initial first second is not going to be that easy. And that's exactly what happened. That 1 second slip off costed the guys from the other team a lot. Like, Major Sprite is now out of equation, and the chicken dinner falls in the hands of Excuse Me, and they are actually on top, as we can see.
I mean, whoa, that was some close scenario if you ask me. He almost won it right there. Didn't even go for confirming any kill. But that was a little unfortunate. But now somewhere down the line, what a match for the start of team Excuse Me. And Furia with 998 damage, 8 total elimination. Oh, I feel that this guy is the MVP already for the day. The first MVP which we had was, I think, from the side of Team BR Esports or Team OZAROX Esports, who had like 5 elimination. And now it's Team Excuse Me, and man, they played it like a true winners today. I think this is the match we'll definitely remember. It's indeed the third team from the entire, Europe Invitational who managed to win a chicken dinner in Miramar. Or else so far it was all Team MELISE and all about Team FLUX. Major Pride really played well. Team MADBULLS also covered like a total of 10 kilometers. But Fury, as we mentioned, the MVP, 998 damage, 8 elimination, which is just tremendous. 2 assists and 16 W's. But in the end circles, I mean, Zone was pretty slow to make sure that teams are getting enough room to get those 5 dubs. And every other team, I don't think that any team fall victim of any sort of third party. Unless there were any sort of, like solo versus solo duels going on. Most of the team had a completely, like a dedicated time for them to go in, play a 4v4 fight, win it, and then just get ready for the next one. It was a little unfortunate, I'll say, towards the start of Team Major Pride, who would have yet had another success, because they were down to a numbers disadvantage. Then the nade came in, which confirmed the kill of Perfecto, and eventually, after 2 players getting taken down, they were already down to a 2 versus 4. But yet that 1v4 would have been such a great possibility. Out of those 12 kills, they confirm 3 more kills, and Team Excuse Me get themselves the winner chicken dinner. Meantime, in the second position, just in the backlines, it's going to be Team Major Pride with MADBULLS at the 3rd spot, Team BRA at the 6th with 6 points, SBG finally coming up with 5 elimination, which pulls them up in the top 5 position. FLUX, not the best, but at least managed to get 5 points. REGNUM, CARYA with 5, and the list goes on. But with that, number 1 team in the entire, like I said, squad is indeed going to be this one team, who is going to be Team Excuse Me. And Furia, meantime, highest elimination, highest damage. Beck from Excuse Me is going to be highest assist, and Becca from the side of Team ARR is going to be the one with highest healing being done. Team Major Pride Nomi is going to get the highest knock in the entire game. So that was all about the match summary. Let's take a look after what match stats has to show us. Because given the fact that the zone was slow and steady, I'm really expecting some good numbers of util. But Excuse Me, as we mentioned, 33 points in just 2 maps. And there are 3 more to go.
Well, jumping from the 5th position to the first one, that is absolutely a huge jump coming in. 33 points in the favor as well. MADBULLS on the other side was unable to come back with a very good game, but eventually in the previous matchup they had 15, and in this matchup in match number 2 of this phase number 2 they were able to get another set of 11 points, which is again kind of decent. Major Sprite on the other corner also jumped up quite a bit from #8 to #3. Well, look at that jump as well. complete jump of 6th position. That is again quite impressive. Major Sprite after this performance was able to get 21 points. OZAROX Esports with 20, REGNUM CARYA with 15, BRIZEPOOL with 14, and let's talk about the second page. FLUX Esports with 6, next RUYA with 6, SVG with 6, Fly Europe with 5, NEXUS Gaming with 4, CARYA Esports with 4 as well, MELISE Esports and Gaming Gladiators with 1 points each.
Holly, Team Gaming Gladiators. Let's see how the next game of Erangel once again pans out for them. Eventually, I think these are just, one of those starting stages for the side of these teams to get themselves prepped up. And I don't think like even I really kind of, expected that this could go so well for the side of the team, that they are almost on the verge of breaking the records out of what we saw in the very first phase, first day. I think first day, I'll say map ones and map two were teams were getting the winner with the chicken dinner. Then in the next map, it was all the bottom teams who were trying to come up on top. Here, there's a consistency which is coming in from teams like Major Pride. Then we are seeing, some more teams who are trying to step up, like Team MELISE. Nonetheless, next RUYA, they got a big, task ahead of them. And we do have 3 more maps. But before we head on to the next map, we are going to be quickly calling off for a short break. Meantime, you guys stick around with us as Erangel is going to be up next, but only after a short break.
Welcome back once again, guys. As promised, indeed, after a short break, quick short break to be precise, we are back. And as we were talking about the map of Erangel, which is upon us, I guess the match number 3 is precisely the map of Erangel. And after that, we do have Miramar, and then eventually at the end, we are going to have Erangel as the final map for the day. So 2 good opportunities for those teams which are quite good in the map of Miramar. Unfortunately, it was not 5+ esports in this particular matchup, in the first map of this phase number 2, to be honest. So yes, things are changing quite rapidly. We do have MADBULLS securing the first map with, I believe, somewhere around 15 points. In the second one, it was Excuse Me also securing some amazing points. At the end, Erangel, that is the map that we are going to talk about in this particular matchup. I would love to see how Erangel is going to pawn upon us, and the flight path, the play zone, everything is actually going to get considered a lot. Once again, yes, the previous matchup was also quite filled with joy. I thought for a second that Major Sprite could be the one which was going to nail the matchup in their favor, but at the end it was not the case. Excuse Me was the one which was able to fruitfully get the whole advantage of the game in their favor. But moving forward, let's talk about the predictions. For me, this is the map of Erangel. I guess I might actually go for REGNUM CARYA once again. I'm actually going to vouch out for that particular team.
Well, I think given the domination, if you ask me, this time I think I might expect Team MADBULLS yet again proving themselves up. We haven't seen any team dominating, like in the angle, like winning back to back. So I think MADBULLS is going to be one of my pick when we move on towards our very next matchup. Let's see if they could really perform at the level of expectations which you have, because number 1 position is indeed going to be some of the factors to consider about, given the fact that Team Excuse Me is now making up a lead. 33 points in 2 maps. It's like 17.5 per map. And now after this game, they could be the closest to move on towards 50 as well. So let's see if that really goes on. Let us know what's your prediction as well in when we go on towards the map of Erangel guys down there in the chat section, because I believe the polls are going to be out quite yet from you guys. And it's something really interesting to see that how teams who weren't looking the most best are now coming up on top. But yeah, like once again, I'd love to talk it's the side of a team, excuse me, has to now think that they have the number one spot in the entire, like I'll say points table. They're going to be fighting up with one of the team, which is going to be FLUX yet again. Now, it's good that they are going to be fighting. It's just that is it worth it? Because if you fight down in a drop clash, it's like, there are major factors that comes in. First of all, you might not have your loot. Are you lucky enough to get the first one towards the weapon? And then are you lucky enough that after getting to any fight, you're having those healer to heal yourself up or no? It's like very 50-50 if you ask me. It's not totally upon your skill base, but it comes a lot towards your luck and all the other factors as well. Yes, if one of the team goes towards Joshful containers, other towards city, and then they get a fight, it's still a fight which could be, like pretty much be strategized, because you will be the one who will be ready with all of your loot, all of your armor, all of your healing, and it will be a classical 4v4 fight in this competitive zone. But before that, if it's a like clash, then I think the number one spot for excuse me could really be at a big risk.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, this particular map can actually come up with some of the champions, some of the faces where excuse me might not be able to perform exceptionally well the way they usually go for the usual Southwest City, and eventually at that angle they are able to shut down 5FLUX Esports quite a few times. But if 5FLUX Esports decides to fight back in this particular matchup and maybe have the control from the start, then I guess maybe it is going to be a situation where excuse me gets eliminated way too early, and if that happens, obviously there is going to be some other face which is going to jump in on the top positions, because excuse me they were able to jump from I guess 6th position to the first one. So yes, indeed they had a huge jump, and due to the fact that there is just 2 matches that has happened in the third map, we might see once again a lot of ups and downs in the leaderboard because there is not a lot of buffer. And yes, this is one of those things which is actually helping a lot of teams to combine their efforts and eventually come back, bounce back a lot. But I'm missing that effort coming from MELISE Esports. I'm missing that effort from NEXUS Gaming as well. NEXUS Esports, to be precise. Both of these teams are unable to come up with some huge points in their favor. And if that remains same, things are not looking comfortable for them. But yeah, the match has been started, so have a look into the flight path as well. Pretty soon you'll get to know what the flight path is all about and how the connections will be there in this particular flight path. Let's have a look into it in just another 25 seconds. The next map, which is Erangel, is going to come in phase number 2, day number 1. Match number 3 is going to be upon us. Let's have a look in it.
Yup, let's take a look. Let's see how situations are eventually going to look like. Previous time it was like a clean central gut cut towards the Norapnoya plane path, and the zone went all the way towards the western side of Gatka, kind of in those open shows. This time I do expect it to go little, diagonal, little, like I'll say vertical. But let's see how the plane path is going to come in. It comes all the way from the northern side of Kameshki, and it's going to go all the way towards the Sosnovka and Prismok positions. So I think it's like a pretty dissection one. Teams might really go on towards Sivani. I do expect a team to, which is for esports, to get the entire shelter for themselves. Oh, it's going to be a tough fight for SBG yet again, as well as esports is now looking in to go inside the side of Yasiana Poliana. Rozok, what a Rozok is where Team MADBULLS go. And at the same time, if we're talking about the side of Team Lee Esports, this is the only map where they don't get a clash, and somewhere down the line they are happily, able to survive those early crucial seconds. But at the same time, this time it's Team NEXUS who are slowly steadily moving in towards the side of Lifovka. The early fights are right up as Team SBG find themselves in a fight of 4v4 up against the side of Team BESIKTAS Esports.
Pretty similar to what we usually see in the Yasna Polina. Whenever the flight path is actually closed, we do see a fight between these two giants, and can clearly see in the triples story buildings there is going to be a very good tussle on the northwest corners of the northeastern corners of the Yasna Polina. I would love to see how this fight actually gets ended, because SPG Esports every now and then is looking decent, but on the hindsight, if we talk about BESIKTAS Esports, that is one of those teams which is looking very aggressive. They had secured in the previous angle 5th position, so that means really that they are quite good when we talk about the positioning in the game. But when we talk about the aggression, I believe at that point SPG Esports can actually have the upper hand in quite a few battles. But in that particular scenario, slicing up is going to be the case. But before that, Frozen decides to just punch him alive and get the player down. Gaming Gladiators once again is off to a very bad loss, to be honest. Two good frags is going to come in, and the way NEXUS is performing is looking quite good. Two good finishes already there. Okay, sorry, my bad. Three finishes are coming in at this point, and the last player is way too far away. Gaming Gladiators, what is happening to that team? They are unable to be fruitful in even a single match of this angle.
Surely, but at the same time, let's see how the fight back is going to come, and Victor finds an instant fight back piece. Is going to be taken down. Kitsune, meantime, with the DBS, is going to take down Machine and is going to confirm the kill as well. It's all left to him in this scenario. Meanwhile, Team SBG, they're totally getting rushed in. Let's see how Team BESIKTAS Esports is going to fight back. Enjoy gets a good kill out of his S12K. And man, it wasn't an indeed fruitful one, but nonetheless, the job is done. And it's Team SBG finally winning the fight to conquer the ASEAN of Oleana. And it's them and their playground with all the 4 players surviving. Let's see how good this map is indeed going to be for them. Team next RUYA, on the other hand, they have Frozen. Kitsune is just one single player. Fight for this entire fairy pay position is still good. He's having a Uzi in his hand, so I think Kitsune with DBS, you want anything but not a close range fight with him, because if you get a close range fight, this could be a little, I'll say like concerning at the same time. Let's see how situations eventually come out, because I believe so far he has yet been spotted up out of the kill he had, but now the close in indeed is coming in, and slowly, steadily, as we can see, he gets spotted up. Frozen still looking to go one step at a time. He only has I believe a Scorpion in his hand, which is a pistol. Then we have an Uzi, but Kitsune, now is his time to shine. He gets the first knock. He did put Wolf down to 50 HP, but the job is done as the trade comes in, and it's Team Gleaming Gladiators who will be falling down at the 15th spot.
Yeah, finally, once again, a very big loss coming in. Both BESIKTAS Esports and Gaming Gladiators have been taken down. I was not at all expecting that kind of stuff happening, but eventually look at FLUX Esports as well. Once again, the losses are coming in. They were trying to approach to the Georgie Pool Northwest City or the Southwest City, but eventually at the same time, the clashes coming in from Furious perspective was absolutely amazing. The Honey Badger has been used, and with that, one good player of the team has been taken down. Eventually, Soulless and both Kesh has been picked off. Now it's all about Lutz, and the other guy, Sol Keo, is actually going to be there, which is again very close to the bridge. Maybe, I guess this particular team is going to have the idea where the players are, and Excuse Me might actually have the upper hand in this particular matchup. Remember, guys, the fact is, if Excuse Me goes down, there is going to be a chance for some other team to bounce back. But the thing is, at this point, Excuse Me is looking comfortable, and they are pushing a lot of teams away from the scenario. Be it FLUX Esports, one of those true champions of the previous phase were. And in the phase number 2, I believe maybe Excuse Me could be the team which is going to have the control from the start. They already have 35 points. That means they have the buffer of 9 points from that particular team, which is at the second position, which is again a very good buffer.
Totally. But at the same time, following teams, 53 players. I think Team FLUX with 2 players down, and Team Next RUYA is going to be down to only 1 single player. Let's see how these numbers disadvantage eventually comes out. And Team FLUX is now moving in this spot. They hear these footsteps, and now it's clear that Team Excuse Me is gonna come in. But let's see if Team Excuse Me could get the first knock. Oh, it's gonna be the Mutant, which is doing the wonder. The headshot lands. There goes another shot. Oh my god, Solke is gonna turn around the entire position of this guy. And I mean, this is gonna put them such in a tough spot. REGNUM, CARYA, they come to rescue Team Excuse Me. And oh my god, Team Excuse Me, they could have really lost yet another one of the players. But good for them that only one is going to be there to take him down. Lutz is still surviving. And I think the last time we saw Lutz, it was almost up on a 1 versus 4. Let's see, once again the spray comes in. But with an 8 km, I don't know if that's the most fruitful one to depend upon. Nonetheless, Team REGNUM, CARYA also going to year in. And now they're closing things down towards this Team Excuse Me. They are swimming in the down positions, and I think the HP isn't in the favor of player Harold. He has to go behind the pillars, and yes, he goes up, he takes some breather, will get himself up with some oxygen, but Lutz is also realizing it's a big chaotic fight right now here, but the buggy is going to get slammed in nowhere's land, just right in the middle of the bridge. Lutz knows that it's a third party going on. He might have read the kill feed at the same time, but is he the one who fall the victim of this fight? Because somewhere down the line he had nothing to do with Team REGNUM CARYA. Malvik already gets taken down. It's going to be Lutz who's good for 1. Wants to confirm the kill. Is down to very low HP, but he yet goes for another pick. He did that any healers, and that was unfortunate, and that was Team FLUX falling in the 14th spot.
One more big glass coming into the play. I would love to see how Excuse Me is going to perform, because look at Black. He's just being submerged in the water body already, getting attacked by the submersible situation, and the way he is actually going to get deployed is absolutely amazing. But he might actually come to the surface, breathe a bit, and then eventually go down to the shallow water bodies. That can actually happen, but at the same time, Sean was about to get finished off, but eventually he survives. He is still looking forward to have some more advantages in his favor. Regnum CARYA is again 18 points in the favor, and they're looking comfortable. They have got the full manpower. I have to see how far they can establish themselves, but CARYA's, I guess the name Zelicon could be the one of those players which can actually stop and maybe spot the last man standing from, excuse me, not last man standing, I believe the second last man standing to be precise. It is Black, and there is already Furia on the back end, so I would love to see where he is. But before that, there could be a fight between Major Spide and MADBULLS in this particular vicinity. And yes, beyond the areas of ruins, there is a beautiful spray coming from FX corner, and that spray affected a lot of anticipation. With that, now Effect is going to push forward. There is not a lot of covers, to be honest. But yes, there is a guy on the back end that is going to be Tulika with the DP28 in their favor, which can easily put a full stop onto the formation of Effect and his teammate. So if that happens, it will be mesmerizing. But before that, the player gets spotted, and Frozen is going to get froze alive, and he has been taken down. With that, Dirishan could actually come back with some good shots as well, because he has got the scar. Now his position is pretty much revealed. That is why he has to rotate. That is why he has to be that guy who can surprise the players coming in from this particular team. Obviously, the element of surprise is there. Then eventually the team is going to have a better hand in this particular fight. But at the same time, ARR is now trying to fight back, and eventually Regnum CARYA once again gets the upper hand on another squad.
Well, the zone is going to go all the way up towards the Rozok waters, like Rozok and Georgepol container side. So now I think this once again gets a little interesting indeed, because Team MELISE, they have to just, give up the fight, or maybe just finish up from the start of Team NEXUS. Yeah, OZAROX is just falling right next to Frozen's crosshairs, because they're passing on from the military base circle. And through the military base, bridges, they're just coming in from the back lines. Team 4 Esports as well coming in towards the mid positions of Ruins. But I think Ruins could be a good position to hold on to. But if the zone doesn't lies there, this once again brings a very tough spot. MADBULLS are just right next to Team BRA Esports. And now that one player, he really needs to fall back, or else he could, just get chased down from these players of Team MADBULLS, who indeed love to engage themselves in a fight, especially given the fact that they have no singular, knock till now. Meantime, if you took a look after the start of Kenzie, yes, he will be taken down, and it's going to be a little unfortunate. Matkas goes all the way towards the bottom basement positions. Frozen with the DBS is indeed the deadly one. Gets the first one, gets another one, and that's going to be Frozen. Finally getting taken down with the buggy slam and giving the taste of his own medicine. But the last player, Wolf, is gonna come in, is gonna do the job, is gonna finish things up, and it's a squad elimination for the start of Team OZAROX Esports. What an unfortunate trail of events for them. It was a 2v4, it was almost doable for them, but unless the DBS and the backlines came in from the start of Wolf, the support arrives. Frozen did not manage to stay alive, but nonetheless, it was the loot which they are gonna get of total high tier, all the way from military base. Team OZAROX Esports came in. It was not really expected that they would really stop themselves there, because I think the zone was all the way towards in the top position. Stopping there was a real unfortunate scenario, and with that, they just are going to get eliminated at the most earliest possible time possible with all of those.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is happening at this point. The way the fights are coming in is absolutely mesmerizing. But moving forward, Regnum CARYA is also picking up a player, and that particular knockout is obviously going to result in a very fruitful advantage. But there we go, Lokshak gets picked off, and this is not looking fortunate for the team. But yes, there is going to be some more slams coming in, and the other players from Regnum CARYA is also trying to push forward. Vic wants to actually come up with a 1v2. Well, will he be able to take him down? That's a big question coming in. Indeed, the domination is coming in, but after losing one good player, that is Zelicon, Regnum CARYA is still going to survive. 7 amazing finishes in their perspective, but I was not at all expecting that loss, to be honest. Even Regnum CARYA was not expecting that loss coming in, because Zelican could have been revived, could have been surviving at the game. Unfortunately, he got caught off guard. He was knocked out, and eventually Pick, before getting eliminated, was able to shut him down. Braz Esports on the corner, where Braz Esports once again gets one more player, and that is Aship, I believe. So with that knockout, with that finish, obviously Slide Europe is once again getting caught off guard. Now the rotations are going to be very, very important. Look at the southern POI of the current zone that has been formed. There are multiple teams which are rotating from that POI, and the best part is that nobody is there on the northern area. So taking up that northern territory is going to be the major part. Regnum CARYA is already off to the rotation. They might actually approach that area where FLUX Esports and both Excuse Me were trying to fight back. Excuse Me is still surviving, which is the best part because they can easily have more and more amazing points in their favor. While rotating, MELISE Esports might actually face off against Sly Europe. At the same point, if we talk about FUT Esports' meta, they are already getting shut down. Major Sprite on the other corner is trying their level best to have the advantage. That need is actually a close one, but still, the utilities and the usage of those utilities are not looking good for them. Matt Flurky on the other corner finds one. Lewis on the other corner from MELISE Esports also finds another one. That is absolutely amazing. So we do have a lot of contestment going on. That need was actually a very close one, but Ponyo on the other corner, Dino on the other corner was able to get the advantage out of it. Lewis is going to crush Mandarin out of the equation. With that, FUT Esports is already getting cleared up. Sivian also gets finished off. Okay, that's sad to watch out. The way the pressure is coming in, like Rookie is also getting picked off. The last player is going to be Kairos, and he's way too far away, but still his position is going to be a bit more visible because wherever he rotates, it could be either Nexus, it could be either MP who is going to pick them down. That is Major Spirit. So yeah, at this point, survival for FUT Esports is not looking very good.
Yeah, probably. And I think at the same time, like the revival has to come through. Nomi is indeed going to stand strong. 32 players still remaining with 11 teams. But let's see where the next circle is going to shift in because only 1 minute remain down there in the clock. Team MADBULLS at the same time, I think like Zorshi has yet been fallen down. The revival has to come in. Team Major Pride are not giving any room, and Team MADBULLS, they get spotted from the side of FLUX. FLUX yet in a very tough spot to make sure that either he moves in towards the safe circle or he just gives out his hope to deny or even pick up his fallen player, but the kill gets confirmed from the side of Perfect, and that is now going to push Team MADBULLS down to only 2 players. Team Major Pride are going to be up in a domination of 5 eliminations, but now it's going to be a clean fight, a 4 versus 2 fight coming in face to face. But I love the way Major Pride is really playing in so passively. They're not going in much for the aggression. Nexus is going to meanwhile take down Kiss here with the DBS, and that's going to be indeed a 2 versus 4 fight once again. Oh, Exo, he needs to heat himself up. Oh, look after this window, which he is just totally exploiting. Nexus, the backer, is indeed arising towards the side of RUTHLESS. But before he comes in, I think Team Nexus are going to find themselves with only 2 players. It's a 2 versus 2 fight. One play just runs away from that fight. Lewis is still trying to make sure that he finds any sort of cover. But let's see, the backup is arise, and now Team MELISE are down to a 2v3. Oh, this ain't going to be an easy one. This ain't going to be an easy one. It's a real difficult one. Caller RTR is still up with the nade. First knock comes in. It's going to be the nade who does the job. Kisio is going to be denied. Once again, CEO all the way towards the upline is the only player surviving from the start of Team versus Esports. And in a 1v3, let's see if this AKM could really do some wonder. The DBS are yet coming in. He falls down from his terrace, and that's unfortunate for him. He's once again looking to run back, but the damage which will be done is going to be unfortunate. And with that, on the other corner, on the top side, it's going to be Messina who will be holding up these DBS, and that's going to turn the end for the side of Team MELISE. It's Team Nexus who wins it once again, and Team MELISE is still struggling in the bottom 2 position.
Again, the losses are coming in. I was not at all expecting this kind of stuff because Nexus was also one of those teams which are stuck at the bottom. But currently, after wiping out MELISE Esports, it is Gaming Gladiators and MELISE Esports along with ARR which are stuck in the bottom. Sky Europe is also not at all at a very comfortable positioning, but they can actually dethrone for both FLUX Esports and BESIKTAS in the later stages because they have the duo surviving at this point, and I'm looking forward to see how that duo advantage is going to help them. On the hindsight, Excuse Me also gets attacked, so the last player from Excuse Me is now going to unfortunately survive, and he's also about to receive a lot of shot, so he might actually get taken down. Furia is the name who is still surviving, just one small pixel, and that could be it. But everything that is being done from Major Spice perspective is not helping them a lot. At the end, eventually the elimination is something which is going to be quite helpful. We have 6 amazing defeats, 6 amazing animations coming from Major Spice perspective. The airdrop advantage is again in the hands of Nomi, which is a good thing. CARYA wants to come up with the need. That util that has been getting cooked up at this point can be the one crucial util which can easily help REGNUM CARYA securing some more points in their favor. Although this is not going to be easy, another need goes in. It is going to be a close one, but still, unfortunately, that need is not making any kind of connection. Now he's trying to toss that nade through the door. That need, look at that, look at the damage that need was able to dish out. Another tossing need, is going to come in, but again the positioning was not that adequate. Flyky finds one more. He's going to finish him off for sure. Another guy is also very low on its HP, and with that, what an elimination, man. 9 picks is coming in. MADBULLS off to a very bad start in this particular matchup. Went out way too early with that. BRIZEPOOL is also getting picked off by NEXUS Gaming. A domination indeed coming from the giants of NEXUS Gaming. But look at REGNUM, CARYA. They're also finding the ladder. They're also climbing the ladder at this point already. There are a lot of teams which can become the obstacle. For example, NEXUS could be there. For example, BRIZEPOOL, well, they are about to get taken down. I mean, they have been exiting out of the equation, but NEXUS finds them way too early. 7 amazing defeats are here. Now, top 8 teams are still here with us. So now, the chart of position points is also going to get presumed. All the 8 teams are going to get some kind of points in their favor. Either it could be 1 or it could be 10. Have to look into it. Who is going to get the 10 points and who is going to go out way too early with just 1 position points.
Oh, good. Now coming in once again, it's going to be Wallow. Will get a kill on the back of this M16. A4, but the zone now closes down within 8 seconds. And with that, the rotation yet again being called off. The zone, will it go all the way towards the bottom side or will it go to the no man's land near the water circles? I think that could be a pretty fruitful one, but the nade is indeed going to be a difficult one as Round gets taken down. Team REGNUM Cry almost on the verge of an elimination, and it all comes down towards the shoulder of one single player. SBG might be up till the domination of 5, but now REGNUM Cry, it all comes in the shoulders of Lucia, who gets the first point of contact with his nade. It's still a 1 versus 3, a very doable one indeed. He falls back for yet another pullback of a nade, but from the back lines, it's gonna be Team Major Pride who will take him down, and that's the third party who wins it. FURIA from Team Excuse Me yet surviving. This time it's the top 7 position. For esports are gonna be just surviving with 1 player who's gonna be Curious. Meantime, Team NEXUS are also having all the 4 players alive. So this is now going to be interesting. The zone is now going to close in within 4 seconds left. And let's see where the zone is going to end up shrinking. All the 4 players from the start of Team Major Pride, which does mean that this could be a big fight between them and Team NEXUS for the contestant of Winner Winner Chicken Dinner.
I mean, Ruins is the area where the next play zone is going to get formulated, and this is the 5th play zone, which is obviously going to get compromised pretty soon. In just 2 minutes, we'll get to see another shift coming in. FUT Skyroads is still surviving, which is again the best part of this particular game, that the players are trying to be consistent. They are still trying to put in their own top positions just because of some small mistakes. They don't want to go that early, and exactly that is the thing for Excuse Me as well, because FURIA is still surviving from Excuse Me's perspective. Like, these 2 giants which are still on the top of the leaderboard are trying their level best to just be on top, because there is going to be some more teams pretty soon. There is going to be some more chasers coming in. Major Pride, we have players like Nomi and some of the players like Monkeyson. I don't know what he's trying to do, but eventually he has not even secured a single frag at this point. But yes, on the other corner, the other teammates have definitely got their best part, and they have got some good finishers in their favor. I would love to see how that actually is going to happen. But other than that, 17 players, everything is looking comfortable, everything is looking peaceful. But pretty soon, the aggression will be arising with the nades, with the rotations, and with the guns being utilized at the later stages.
Completely, but at the same time, this is where the end fights are going to come in. 17 players. Oh, the knock onto the side of Yekta go up. Could have came in a missed, like a 3x spray. But NEXUS are now closing things down. 53 seconds till the zone closes in. Pubg still has marked up Yekta on his map, and let's see if Yekta could just manage to move out of that position. He's really being the center of attention here, and all the players from Team NEXUS are really looking to just take him down yet. They have to clear the backlines, which is at this point pretty important. Nomi, meantime, takes a knock out of the Mini 14, and that's 1 player from Team SBG down asking for revival, and he will indeed get it towards the stack. 17 players, I think it's going to be a time where all the teams are now going to get enough time just to hold on, just to make sure that they get these revivals done. Even if they get down, they get themselves back up. But NEXUS are now falling up all the way towards that 1 player whom they had spotted, which was Yekta. And just to take Yekta down, just look after the efforts Team NEXUS put in right there. Now Team NEXUS is going to be down to what, like only 1 player? And Wolf already anticipates this danger and falls back. Nonetheless, Yekta God is going to be denied being slammed down with his vehicle, and Wolf will get taken down. Oh my god, Team Major Pride in that position are looking deadly as ever.
Oh yeah, they're getting pings, they're getting advantages. Ruins is the area where you don't want to mess around with. And the way Major Pride is performing is actually exceptionally well. The thing is, FUT is still surviving, and also There is another team which is still surviving, which is on the top end. That is going to be, excuse me, look at that. Now, Major Spire was performing quite well, but their positioning is revealed a lot. Vishang finds one, and with this kind of opening, another guy could be taken down, and that's exactly what is happening. With the S12K, he's going to pick another one. Now, the revival could actually come in for a reflect. If the revival is going to be there, that will be the best blessing in disguise. At the same time, we have a slam coming in from SBG's perspective. There are multiple nades and utils that are being utilized. Won't be that easy, to be honest, for them to just counter back with it. And point Dino, to be honest, has been taken down. Some more throwables are being utilized, but before that, another spray comes in. With that, Narvalo is also going to push forward, and Major Spy, that team which was looking forward to conquer the whole game in their favor, is already out of equation. Now, Nexus could be another one. See, the best part, Nexus was stuck at the bottom of this food chain, and now they are jumping way too rapidly. They might actually secure this chicken era with huge margin. They can easily bounce back a lot in the later stages. Now, FUT and both, excuse me, are coming up very close to each other. There could be a fight between those two giants as well. It is going to be a 1v1 for sure, but Nexus is now resuming their fights towards the church because they have an insight that there are a few more players. Because their concern is not there on Sly Europe because they're stuck with just 2 manpower. So yes, taking the one place in the church is going to be the main meta, because that will give them the open opportunity to roam around and have more fun and eventually eliminate more players.
But at the same time, like in the downward position, I think it's not going to be an easy task. Like the elimination of what we saw from the start of Major Pride, oh, that's just going to be so uncalled. But now Team Nexus, they have the easiest time for them to get that winner chicken dinner. SBG is also looking as if it's a good contestant team. Lee Europe, meanwhile, with 1 kill, 2 players, excuse me, and Food with only 1 single player. It's the fight for the zone. It's the zone which is now going to be coming in to be the big factor as to which team will indeed walk away with the advantage. Let's see how situation still manages to come out, as the first now could come in from the side of Team Nexus. They were looking to get the first initial damage onto the side of SBG. Nexus, Kapala is still holding on a good angle, and now near the churches, I think it's going to be all down to Team SBG, who are playing the game of patience here. Slee Europa also just in the very right spot after eliminating the side of Team Major Pride. They have that entire ruin control, but now there comes another spray down. This time it's going to be Volo, spotting none of the players yet. 30 seconds remaining in the clock till the zone closes in, and with that, we are going to be having the top 5 team, the winner for the contestant. So the winner chicken dinner indeed happens to be still pretty promising from either side of Team SBG and Nexus, but you can't ignore the fact that these solo players could indeed be a very big difference maker. Top 5 position for Team Food, but yet they only have 0 finishes. They haven't yet got a single elimination yet in this map so far.
And that is obviously going to create a lot of pressure onto them. I'm talking about FUT Esports at this point. They don't have any kind of elimination, but they are in the top 5. That means they're going to get at least 3 points out of this particular matchup. Yes, positioning has been revealed. Nexus Gaming now have got the idea that there is a player in the nearby segment. SPG Victor already trying his level best to actually come up with some good points, but FUT unfortunately gets picked off by the Excuse Me team. Ah, interesting. Excuse Me was able to completely shut them down. On the high side, if we talk about Sly Europe, the last man standing of that particular team, or should I say second last man standing of that particular team, is also there, trying to hide on the edges, and then eventually whenever the moment comes in, he might be able to bounce back. Oh, that spray was absolutely mesmerizing. Indeed, the damage is there. Reflect finds another one. SBG's Narvalo has been picked off. That is the off angle I was trying to talk about. But Furia, that nade is actually way too close. What a perfect nade from Omashina. What a nade. What a beautiful nade, to be precise. The top 3 teams are now left in the lobby, and eventually in these top 3 teams, if I talk about Nexus, they have got the highest manpower, they got the highest amount of finishes as well. On the hindsight, if we talk about SBG, the player who has been knocked out is already back in the game. It's a situation where we have 4 versus 3 versus 2 type of game coming in. So yes, multiple teams are there, multiple players are still surviving. I would love to see how far the SBG is going to push and how far Sky Europe is going to have an advantage, because for Nexus, if positions are right, if they have the right angles, there is no question that they are the one which are looking forward to have the chicken dinner this time.
Oh, completely. But Lee Europe is slowly, steadily closing the distance apart. All the solo players have just been taken care of. At the same time, if you take a look after the side of Wallow, oh, he just gets spotted up. Now, this indeed happens to be another difficult scenario, as slowly, steadily, the closure is going to come and reflect, yet holding down a pretty close angle. Nexus Joran on the same time is up with the flank, and look after Doran. He's slowly, steadily closing things down. Slee Europe, this is the closest they have ever got to a chicken dinner, but the first contact comes in from Doran as the lurk was so powerful from him. He knows what the last player is having, but he can take some damage. The nade lands just right next to the face of the solo player surviving from the side of Slee Europe. Oh man, it's going to be a difficult one. It's going to be a straight far, and Slee Europe is going to turn down at the third spot. That's the hashtag 3 with they will be holding, and with that we are on to the fight which we were mostly highly anticipating for. Team Nexus versus SBG. Can SBG, after a total of 15 to 16 match, can they finally come home to win the winner chicken dinner? The first winner chicken dinner with they ever won was the first game in the first day of phase 1, and now it's the first day of phase 2. Third game, let's see if that could really be the case or no. Team Nexus, they do have the numbers advantage, but do they have what it takes to take down the team? Really looking dominant with only 3 players surviving. It's a 3-1 split from the backlines. Kapala is giving so much intel, and I mean that is indeed being a very promising position for him.
Yeah, I mean at this point definitely the aggression will be working out or not. It has to be delivered. It has to be delivered. It has to be boosted up, to be honest. 2 teams in 7 places surviving. It is SBG versus Nexus, where Nexus has got 11 amazing finishes. SBG on the other corner is stuck with 9. They might actually have the upper hand in the later stages, and then eventually it could be a 23-pointer game coming in, or on the hindsight it could be a 24-pointer game coming in if SBG gets eliminated by Nexus Gaming. Let's see who is going to push forward a bit, because now we are moving to the 8th zone. The end of the 8th zone is already going to come in, and due to the fact of having that many compounds, that many angles in this particular vicinity of ruins, there is not a lot of possibilities of even a single team pushing forward, so we just have to wait.
Four versus 3. Still team SBG. I think it's a little difficult one if you ask me for SBG to just pull up a 3v4 right here. But the zone has to come in their favor, I think. They are just being cornered towards a position. Urin now is 2 meters away from the circle. And if he crawls his way back in towards the zone, he might get expected or revealed. Victor has a nade in his hand, and Doran, just the moment he wants to come inside the zone, he gets punished, and that's the first success which Team SBG needed. Now with that, they eventually do have that winner chicken dinner forecast in their favor, a 51-48% going in their favor, which is slightly a little up, but I think Team Nexus is now in the position of each and every player. They just need a single nade to land right next to Team SBG to get at least one single knock. But look at this. Look at the damage. The damage is beautiful, but not the knock. Victor is going to pull himself up in a safe spot. It's the 9th circle. And you know when the 9th circle is up, you have to get ready for the start of none other than the healing battle. And now if the healing battle has to come through, it has to come in as soon as possible. Because if not now, then it could be a never statement. But Octavian meantime gets taken down. Kapala is going to be spotted. And there we go. Once again, it's going to be Orisa who is going to be spotted here. Victor pulls out his nade. He has at least 3 nade. But before that, Kapala's nade is going to take him apart. Amici now is still up. It's a 2v2 fight. It's the best case scenario for him to push up. He has a DBS in his hand. He might hear the footsteps. The revival instantaneously is going to be done. But Karashi is going to be taken down. It's all down to one player. It's all down to Machina. 1 versus 3 for him. Let's see if he could really pull that up. No, it's not the case. It's Team Nexus who will be winning it all onto the back of Kapala's DBS. And with that, the game is finally close to an over. What a long game it was. I almost felt if it's the healing battle zone which is going to decide which team will be the number 1. But somewhere down the line, Team Nexus just managing to win it in the last seconds.
Oh yeah, Nexus was able to outperform every single team that was in the lobby, and not also with the small margin. I guess somewhere around 24 points is what they're going to get in this particular matchup, which is again a very huge thing to and deal with. So yes, impressed with that particular performance as well. Yeah, indeed, 24 points is what they're going to get. Hashtag 3 is going to be the positioning. Remember guys, Nexus was the team which was stuck at 14th, 15th position, but right now from that particular position to the 3rd position, the jump is actually quite surreal. 24 points is what they're going to get. 23-32 is the amount of damage that they were able to dish out. All in all, way too impressive performance coming from these guys. But let's talk about the team stats. The highest amount of frags that was there was coming from Omashina's comparatively perspective, because he was able to take down 7 amazing eliminations, and eventually 3 knockouts were also there. If I talk about Doran, 23, he was able to get the damage of 620, and eventually just 2 eliminations and 2 knockouts were there. And if I talk about Kafala, he was able to take down 3 good players, and eventually 2 knockouts were there. On the hindsight, if I talk about Octavian, 379 is going to be the damage with just 2 eliminations and 2 knockouts as well.
Surely, and with that, the MVP, I mean, although complete, like I'll say chaos, which he made right there in the end circle. One of the team which I really thought were looking really promising, at least to come at the top 3 or maybe at least top 5, was Team Major Pride, who just unfortunately fall in at that very right moment. Nonetheless, now let's see what's going to be the entire match stats when we move over to the summaries. As I think there were a lot of eliminations, I think there was a lot of healing. Utility also played a huge role there. So let's move on to the next phase, next scene, and let's see what do we have next when it comes to the numbers. Because eventually, I do feel that Major Pride, indeed they might have lost this game, but it's not the end for them. Nexus 24 point, and that's the total which they managed to get with 14 elimination and a winner chicken dinner. 16 for the start of SBG. Major Pride once again looking consistent in the top 3 position. At this time, it's the 11 points which they managed to get alongside REGNUM CARYA with 10.
And yeah, REGNUM CARYA again tried their level best to perform eventually in this particular matchup as well. But I'm actually happy to see that REGNUM CARYA is still sticking to their guns, like they are trying to maintain that decent level of jump in every single matchup. But that's good. Let's talk about like perspective of MADBULLS, Braz, and eventually if we talk about MELISE along with AR and stuff like that. So they don't have a lot of points in their favor. They just had one match, or should I say 1 point out of this particular match, which is match number 3 of the phase number 2. Going forward in the match summary, we can clearly see Homashina was the top fragger, and eventually highest damage came in from Nomi from Major Pride, and also another guy from Major Pride known as Monkey was able to get 5 assists. The highest healing done was coming from Narvalo from SBG, and same does the highest knockouts. So it's good to see this guy actually performing quite well for the team. But yeah, in the later stages of the tournament, SBG was unfortunately not that fruitful.
Exactly, and slowly, steadily, let's take a look after what the overall ranking now looks like. It's 40 points for the startup team, excuse me, still going to be up even after losing it all. We have a Major Pride at the same time with 32 total points. It's a big jump, and it's the consistency which really brings them this. Nexus with 28, MADBULLS with 27, and REGNUM CARYA 25 for them. We have none other than SBG with 22, 21 for OZAROX, and Team RUYA Esports, who just lost the spot at the top 6. But nonetheless, these are the 3 maps. Now with that, it's going to be 2 more maps remaining, and I think these 2 more games are going to be indeed a very interesting one. Would love to see how this eventually comes out. Taking a look after the second page, let's see where the other 8 teams are going to be eventually, fallen down. MELISE, I don't think that it's still the best, game for them. They would still be struggling down there in the bottom 2 alongside GAIMIN Gladiators. AR are at the 14th. For esports also make their entry in towards this game. In the first game, they had like 12 to 13 points. But after that, it's just not being more fruitful enough for them. Next, RUYA with 15. SLE Europe comes up towards 11th at the top 11 position.
Yep, the points are looking good at this point for a lot of teams, but eventually the bottom charts are not looking good, because from hashtag 12 to hashtag 16, I mean, somewhere around 5 points are still stuck with just a single digit point, which is again not a good thing. So on the other corner, despite of having 3 matches in their favor, they were able to jump up a position. They are now at 11, which is again decent performance, I guess, as compared to the previous matchup, previous day, previous phase, to be honest. But still, it is not enough, to be honest. SLE Europe has to come up with a chicken dinner so that they can have a complete control of the phases in their favor. But all in all, yes, the performance is looking good. Yes, the anticipation, yes, the chase from the teams are looking good. 3 matches have been passed out of the phase 2. Remember, 12 more matches are going to be there. Out of those 12 matches, 2 matches are going to happen today. But after a quick short break, we'll talk about the 4th one for the day. Once again, welcome back to the phase 2 of Ruthless Europe Invitational. And at this point, presented by Ruthless Esports, we are looking at a very beautiful matchup of the European teams. And if we talk about the clashes, if we talk about the anticipation, it is looking quite good. Indeed, we have seen 15 matches in phase number 1, and eventually 3 matches have already passed in the phase number 2 as well. It is basically just like the day just yet started, but still, 3 matches have been happening. 3 matches are already out of equation. Now we are looking at the 4th match, which is again going to happen in the map of Miramar. Well, Miramar is a good map, but eventually FLUX Esports is unable to get this gist out of it. In the previous matchup, if you guys remember, it was Excuse Me with some amazing points who was able to get the particular map in their favor. But I really would love to see how the performance will get amplified in this particular matchup. But let's go to the predictions once again. Upcon, what's your prediction for this map?
Oh, I think it's going to be Miramar. I think finally, after few losses, Team FLUX might come up, might win up this. Let's hope they do, hopefully, because they are not looking that good when it comes to the top position. But what would be your call on that? Like, when it comes down to the prediction for the last Miramar for the day?
OZAROX Esports. I'm going to go for OZAROX Esports, yeah.
All right, so it's OZAROX for me, and I am going to go in with the side of FLUX. So I mean, I'm going to be really excited to see how the entire situation is going to come out, because so far I believe after the first, like eventual Miramar we saw, like Excuse Me just turned out each and every expectation of they went over and beyond, and yet being up with like 40 total points, I do believe like they could be the closest to get towards the 58th mark. I do see some dominating gameplay once again happening, but within 20 seconds, once again, it's going to be the map of Miramar where we will be heading over to. Let's see how Miramar is going to look like when we went to see it for the very last time here at the second phase, day 1. It's going to be an interesting one nonetheless. So let's see which team is going to be the one who will win it all. But with that, here we have the plane path for Miramar, and let's see how the plane path eventually kind of looks like. It moves in all the way up towards the southern, towards the northern side. I think this is going to be a pretty horizontal side. You are seeing the plane path coming in from the top right all the way towards the left positions. Or it's the other way around, it's from the top left towards the top right. But nonetheless, the teams are going to have a good time. Let's see if, still we get to see the drop clashes, which we usually get to see between Team Ballistas and SLE Europe.
Yeah, I mean, the drop clashes could be actually coming in pretty soon. But yeah, other than that, San Martin, well, again, the area where the cloud clashes might be. Other than that, we had some clashes in areas like Elazar. Also, there was a clash coming in La Bendita region. Minas General, to be precise, is going to be the one of those regions where every now and then the clashes are coming in. Sky Europe versus maybe Excuse Me. I'm unable to recall that particular team which usually comes in against Sky Europe, but yeah, there will be clashes. That's for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Now, if we talk about NR next RUYA, to be precise, they are also jumping in a very close vicinity, but they are trying to be a bit more comprehensive at this point. They have got the El Pozo region, they favor the Montemobile is going to be there for MADBULLS. And if we talk about Excuse Me, they are jumping way too far away. They're trying to approach the Valadalma region. And yeah, there we go. The clash between SBG and the other team, FUT Esports, is for sure going to be there. If we talk about Sky Europe and a major spread, that is again going to happen in the Minas region. So yeah, Regnus Kira going for the Picardo region. There are n number of teams which are particularly outside the particular play zone, but now moving forward pretty soon, there is going to be a very big rotation coming in. Maybe if Excuse Me wants to rotate early, they can easily approach the Los Angeles region or the Sur region because they've got the vehicles, they can easily go for it. But at the same time, there is going to be some more clashes coming in. SBG is now just waiting eagerly for the right time period to strike on, where Sly is going to pick one down, and that is Brazil West.
Oh, the fight once again goes near. This time, Team SLE Europe is looking like pretty good, I'll say. Like when it comes to answer back, first blood does comes in the favor of Team SLE Europe. On the other hand, you even have the side of Team VR Esports. Oh, Kaiser is going to take down Zipa. So that's an important knock which they indeed needed up. Let's see how the answer back comes in. Ford and SVG fighting up towards the lands of, like San Martin. And what is confirmation from coming in from the side of Victor. Ford Esports not looking that great, if you honestly ask me, because it's like a 3v3 fight once again. Both the fight going to all together. San Martin, this time it's not even inside the safe circle. So that's going to be yet another interesting part. But what did I just saw? I think it's going to be none other than Gorbis, who is not having any sort of HP for himself. this is a little difficult now because I think like with this situation, with the no, I'll say, like weapons, I mean, like him surviving is just a matter of time that he'll be waiting for him to not yet get spotted up. Team Foot is giving all the respect, but Kashi, can he do a 1v2 right here? Because the rookie is only having a melee weapon, and with the melee, I don't think that it's going to be an easy task for him. Other side, Team BRA is going to be up with the start of Team Slee Europa. But slowly, steadily, as the game goes on, I think it's going to be an unfortunate one. Team BRA is down to only 2 players. It's a 2v3, and I think this time Team Slee Europe could really come up on top.
Yeah, that can be the case. I hope if they get the advantage out of this particular fight, it will be absolutely amazing. But yes, after losing one good player, I don't think so it's going to be that easy for them to just bounce back and completely shut down the perspective of Rise Esports, because that is another comfortable team who knows to aggress and eventually get the opportunities right in their favor. But look at Reflect. Has got the car 98, is actually climbing the rooftop, has got the diagonal rooftop in his favor from which he can fight back. But at the same time, we have another clash going in the San Martin region, if I'm not wrong. And it is a very big fight, but still the result is not at all clear who is going to win. Is it going to be 50 Esports, or is it going to be the SVG trying to get the advantage out of it? But look at this guy. Reflect has got the car 98. He's trying to come up with those tap shots. Obviously his position is going to get revealed with that. Still, survival is the only thing that he's trying to go with.
At the same time, let's take a look after how Team SVG is eventually going to answer back. Because I do believe like Zorba's OP is now spotted up. It's now going to be difficult. Backup does arises. This is the fight for Kakashi to win. And yes, Kashi wins it. The backup does arises. But at the same time, Seven is going to just jump in, get the headshot out of his shotgun. And the trade once again comes in the two different corners. It's like a 2v2 fight once again happening in. This time the weapons are looking really good when you talk about the start of Team SVG, as they have rifles and Uzi into their hands. Now into a 2v2. Let's see which team is going to come up on top. Rookie once again going up towards the second floor. Slowly, steadily, he wants to take the entire control. But I think this is a tough spot for any of the team to back off. At the same time, if you take a look at the healings, I don't think there's any healings onto the side of Rookie nor to the side of Team for Esports. Which means that within 3 minutes, as the zone is going to close on and San Martin is going to be out, it's going to be a little difficult one for them to make sure that they eventually come out and get themselves the advantage. So like once of all, if they'll already be outside, like I'll say the zone, and at the second time Team SVG won't let them go inside the circle. This is where I think like the elimination could really come in, and Team SVG are already playing for the exits here.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying their level best to just survive at this point, but yeah, survival rate is not at all looking good. Two good players, yes, that's what they have. And also, the other team, FLUX Esports, is also having with just 2 players in their particular favor. Getting the chicken in is kind of out of question for both of these teams, but yes, as you said, exit frags is something they can actually work out for. Before getting eliminated, they can actually eliminate the opponent, and maybe after clearing out the whole San Martin region, they might actually survive and maybe get some more good position points. But MS on the other corner, that is MELISE Esports, is also coming in with some amazing points, with some amazing comebacks, and this harsh comeback that is there will be absolutely amazing. But Praz Esports on the other corner finds another one that is going to be Mandarin, who has been picked up. Reflect on the other corner instantly reverts back by a very good Carnate tap shot coming in. With that, Kezos has been picked up. Now Kirali could actually go for the revival, or he can just let his teammate bleed out, watch him bleed out, to be honest. That could be the case. And yeah, Kezos is just waiting for the right opportunity. I mean, he might actually get a revival, and that's exactly why Kirali is trying to push forward. If he goes for a revival, he is going to get spotted, and that is the opportunity where MS Esports might actually have the upper hand. But Reflect does not have any other weapon in his favor, and the only weapon that he's got is a Kar 98, and also he's going to get spotted from the multiple corners. So yeah, at this point, survival is something which is going to be way more difficult for him.
At the same time, like Reflect, he has a Mercen, and but the holographic side is trying to spot one. I think MELISE has came in a little too early. Team BRA down to 1 player. The HP isn't quite good. Oh man, this HP is really going to be a concerning part. So far, I think out of all the games, this is the 4th game of today, and this is that one game which has been like, it's been a while. It's been like 7 minutes we have been inside this map of Miramar, and not even a single team has been eliminated. Most of the time we do used to see these early eliminations, especially in Miramar. Maybe Slee, maybe SVG, or maybe the start of MELISE. Any one of these teams could have been taken down. considering the top clash with they have, but it's BG and Foot Esports once again down to a 1v1. Now this is going to be interesting because Foot Esports, it's now or never for them. They already have lost that one player. The revival has to come in. Victor, who has no healings, has a Uzi in his hands and is going in to directly slam inside the fight. The spam dust comes through. He manages to confirm one of the kill, but not the squad, and it's going to be Team Foot who will be winning it, but with no healing. He has to just rush in towards the circle, and I think if he doesn't manage to find even a single bandage, I don't think he would be able to make it safely.
Oh yeah, at this point, the band-aids, the utils, everything is going to be very, very crucial. But look at the zone shift coming in. I'm actually impressed with that as well. OZAROX Esports is also trying to bounce back at the same vicinity. This is going to be the Minaj region where the fights are coming in. And obviously, the hill that is there with MELISE Esports is going to get them the upper hand. ARR Esports is also trying to rotate from the northern territory. So there are multiple teams which are trying to rotate, which are trying to get the upper hand in this particular fight, be it REGNUM, CARYA, be it Major Sprite, be it FLUX Esports, or even NEXUS as well. So yes, multiple teams are rotating, multiple teams are approaching, but there is a big clash coming in just a small region, and that is Minaj region. There are a lot of, ridges and areas to confront with, and that is why I guess MELISE Esports can completely have the control out of it, because MELISE Esports is now trying to create an envelope in which both Braz is actually going to get stuck, and also Sly Europe is also going to get stuck, because the way this envelope is getting formed is it is not going to get any it is not going to give any opportunities for these two teams to rotate, or these two teams to find a new safe haven at this point. But yes, the next play zone is going to get started, and the shrink is going to get begin very soon. I mean, the shrink is already getting started. That's kind of interesting. Second play zone is already getting compromised. 15 teams, 52 players are still surviving, and pretty soon the number will decrease.
At the same time, the first team to get eliminated, unfortunately, does manages to stay none other than team is BG, but Foot has, I think, barely made it in. I believe there is still 15 teams kind of surviving. Team BR Esports has also been alive. Like, they had nothing to work with. Like, literally, it was just pixels for them. Just from the backline came in Team MELISE, and now I think there's yet another team which is going to be GAIMIN Gladiators, which are coming in. Meantime, REGNUM CARYA is going to go fight up against the side of Team FLUX. And the fight is indeed going to be initiated, as FLUX are the first team to get fallen down. MELISE, meantime, takes down Matic, who was just extending a little too over aggressive. And unfortunate for them, as he falls down, it leaves Team GAIMIN Gladiators down to only 3 players, and they are in 3 different corners of this, Minas Grenades. So, it's going to be a little difficult to fight up all the way towards, Minas. I think they'll have to make sure that they are all reforming together and then taking these individual fights, because it's like a fight between 2 to 3 different teams. But CEO, what a great knock coming from his side. He gets the first player down. Now it's Team GAIMIN Gladiators down to only 2 players. Dizzy and Titsune. Titsune could really go up, get the revival down onto the side of his fallen player. But CEO, oh, what? Where did that shot came in from? It came in right in the middle of his armor. And I think that put him down to a pixel HP, thanks to his booster that he manages to just regain some HP in that nick of a time. But oh man, he has to heal himself up quite soon. Gets the first hit. CEO manages to get yet another kill. Oh man, Kitsune, it's such a wrong decision for him to directly go in. It's going to be none other than DZ left all by himself, and that's going to be over. It's going to be GG's for the start of GAIMIN Gladiators in the map of Miramar.
Yeah, it's done. GAIMIN Gladiators, again, and one of those amazing teams which are trying to perform in the previous 3 matches as well, fails to perform in this one. I don't know what is happening to that particular team, but they are unable to find their firm grounds. Again, some more carnage shots is what I'm actually waiting. But yeah, connections is something which might not be there. Level 1 helmet, which is going to obviously create a lot of buzz at this point, because the opponent is trying to create some strong acquisitions with the carnated K shots. Kaiser is also coming up in the close vicinity, and MELISE Esports could actually have the upper hand. But look at FUT, also trying to push forward at the same angle, and this can actually backfire to them a lot. Look at that. KCU is also going to upon some good shots. ARR on the other corner finds another one, and there is an elimination. Reflect after getting eliminated. Reflect is also out of the equation right now. OZAROX Esports is still surviving, which is good. Multiple teams are surviving, to be honest. 13 teams, 42 players are still surviving at this point. I would love to see how far this whole situation goes on. Oh, one of the spray. Kirali finds one. That's Poser who has been taken down. With that, Kizis has to push back a lot. Otherwise, KCU is going to be the guy who is going to come up with the comeback. And yeah, there we go. The answer is given. Kirali is going to get taken down. Akezos has to do everything that is there in his possible corner. CEO on the other corner is also going to push forward. Now with that push, obviously Kirali is not going to survive or maybe perform at this point, but Kezos can do everything that is there in his possible corner so that he can come up with a revival and then maybe fight back a lot.
Oh man, slowly, steadily, players are walking up close. MELISE Esports, they have to make sure that they somewhere down the line get Puza back to his feet. But with 13 teams remaining, as VG is out, Lee Europe is out, and also GG Team Pro Esports, they eventually got a life savior into the name of Team MELISE Esports, or else I don't think that Team Lee Europe would have made it easy for Team BRA to stay alive for that long yet. Indeed, slowly, steadily, Team MELISE, they're going in, closing things down. I think the zone is really in their favor, so zone is not going to be a big issue. But just from the backlines, as you can see, Team REGNUM, CARYA, they are all the way 4-man stacked up towards the bottom slopes. And with that, the first knock dust comes in from the side of Sven onto the side of Tron. So being in the bottom slopes, the disadvantage indeed comes against them. Swan gets the first point. He gets the first knock. The retaliation fight is there, due to which Swan is going to be down to like 45 HP. He regains his fallen HP, but Kenzie, as meantime, gets taken down, and it's all the way coming up from the side of Team Major Pride. Now, Major Pride has been really a problem maker for the side of team, like none other than Oxtrix lately. And Team Oxtrix, once again, they have to look after multiple directions and just look after the distance of each and every player. One player is playing all the way a solo v4 right there. Swan is being the lurker, and two players who are just falling and making sure that they get the revival. But what a damage being done, but yet no success, as it's going to be Wolf who is going to retaliate back in the nick of the time, and Swan is going to be taken care of. Now Swan has to be, retrieved back. And if he is not, then I think Team NEXUS would definitely love to close things down. The zone is, is shrinked in. And I think it's all the way inside the favor of none other than, Team, excuse me, ARR is also looking pretty good. Slowly, steadily, Team FLUX has to move inside the circle. But at the same time, the teams who are going in is indeed going to be the side of Team NEXUS. OZAROX Esports, they are playing a very long range battle. And with the M43X, what a knock that came in from the side of Sun HP.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we do have a lot of teams trying to rotate in the zone. CARYA, look at him. Going off and getting some good picks, but at the same time, BESIKTAS Esports is also trying to revert back the attack. I'm sorry, not just BESIKTAS Esports, it is ARR also trying to bounce back at the same point, and eventually they're also trying to have the control, the complete control to be precise of this game. FLUX Esports, fortunately, is still surviving, which might actually give them the zest out of this particular fight. But again, the way they are rotating, the angles that they're choosing might not be the effective one, because from the back end we have Major Pride. From the left hand corner we are going to look into the Team NRX as well. NEXUS on the other corner finds the other one. That's good. Excuse me is already getting picked off. You can clearly see FURIA is the one which is just awaiting a revival. Effect on the other corner gets picked off by OZAROX Esports' player. And is that possible for them to just come up with a revival? That's a big question. I mean, getting the revival is going to be a very big opportunity for OZAROX Esports and their players. For like Major Spine, Monkey Sun is going to just completely back out from the scenario, completely bail out from the scene. And the hindsight, it's OZAROX Esports which is trying to create a lot of buzz. Yes, the damage was there, but still not enough to completely shut them down. That is why he had to fall back. Sefir has to be back in the scene so that he can be pretty much close to the teammates, and then eventually, whenever the situation demands, he can backfight and he can have the best advantage out of it. So yes, he's trying to fall back. He's trying to have the advantage. Some more throwables, some more utils are now being utilized. The connection of those utils might not be there, but the player is obviously going to get spotted quite soon. You can clearly see the player has been spotted, but beyond the boulder, he is there lurking in the shadow. But seems like that there is the teammates trying to actually come up with some decent angle advantages. But still, Nomi will be the last hope, and he falls down. He gets taken down. That's it. Major Spide again gets measured at way too early positioning. Like 13th position is what they have right now in this particular matchup. So remember, 4 matches have passed, and still Major Spide is another team which is unable to have that comfortable ground to fight back with. Although they were stuck at the second position in the overall shining, but I really would love to see a lot of consistent plays coming from their team. Irrespective of all the other things, they went out way too early. Now BESIKTAS Esports, they're trying to fight back. NRX is now punching back. OZAROX as well. Swain has been picked off. I would love to see how the retaliation will be.
Oh, the close-in is coming in. Team Next RUYA. The knock comes in from the side of FLUX. Next RUYA is also going to come in, close things down towards the side of none other than OZAROX Esports. And OZAROX Esports Jokin Machine is going to take down Steffi. And that's a team elimination from Frozen, who takes down the final lane of the coffin. And that's going to be OZAROX, who will be up with only 12 spot, which is kind of unfortunate if you ask me. Because this was the start of the end circles and an instant close in, an instant, like answer back from the side of Next RUYA being down to only 3 players. They pretty much played it so well. Even the one player was not right in the right spot. Look after this prone spray. This is such a beautiful spray. He's just one more bullet away and Frozen manages to just get back in time. Oh, Team FLUX. This wouldn't have, hasn't been closer. Soulless meantime takes down the monster truck. Catch is going to be taken down from the backlines as Yekta go up, knocks him down with his M4. The trade comes in as Soulkey's nade is going to take down Yekta, go up once again. It's a risky push, so they do not want to overextend at this position. But Soulkey says, hey, it doesn't matter to him as he is now still stepping in. He has a DBS and an M16, so I think it's a pretty undoable one if you ask me, considering that that's an M16 against an M4. But the result goes in the favor of Team Next RUYA, as now they get enough time not just to put Yekta up, but at the same time Posa comes in from the back. Team Next RUYA once again making it difficult for the side of FLUX. But look at this nade. Jokin Machine is going to go down. Yekta go up is going to get naded, and Team FLUX will be up with the domination of fire elimination.
Well, they are not stopping. They are getting the punches and they are actually taking down a lot of teams. Next RUYA, the way they were performing was absolutely amazing, but unfortunately they got animated way too early as well. But MADBULLS, the elimination comes in. FLUX Esports on the hand side have secured 6 amazing eliminations. Soulkey is always going to get the revival done. And due to this kind of performance, I really believe that there could be a chicken dinner coming from FLUX Esports' corner as well. But there is still 8 more teams as a competition for FLUX Esports. In order to secure that chicken dinner, FLUX Esports have to go through BESIKTAS, ARR, and MELISE Esports. Along with that, they have to go through Braz Esports, and along with that, we have FUT as well, which is trying to fight back. And the other corner, if we talk about REGNUM, CARYA, they are there. We are very confident team, to be honest. And yeah, there we go. What a beautiful spray from the particular perspective. MADBULLS is again getting compromised. Multiple teams are getting shot down from REGNUM, CARYA's perspective as well. But we do have Excuse Me still surviving. They have 41 points altogether. They're trying to get 50 points in just 4 matches, and that can really happen. I mean, looking at the performance from their particular perspective, I would love to see that happening at this moment. But yes, MADBULLS again trying to attack FLUX Esports. Yes, Soulless gets taken down. Some more sprays are coming in. Let's see how far they can go. Is it going to be a situation where loots can actually be taken down? Yes, the spray was absolutely on point. Kesh also gets taken down. Loot also gets taken down. And it is looking like FLUX will be falling pretty soon. But yeah, is that an elimination? Okay, yeah, it is an elimination at 9th position. So no position points, but yes, 6 placement points for them.
Oh yeah, exactly. 20 players still surviving with only 8 teams left in the lobby. And most of the team, they don't even have the numbers good. Like ARR is up at 4. So is Team REGNUM, CRY, playing is pretty slow and steadily. But FLUX being eliminated at the 9th spot, things are going to be difficult as top 8 spot still remains quite strong. Team MELISE not looking to give any open fights. Excuse Me has had a little slow time yet. Katu gets spotted up. Spray still coming down from the side of BLK, but he indeed is going to reveal his own position to his disadvantage, as if he comes out, the spray indeed and the attention is going to be right next to him. But now that the zone is going to close in, Thrawn meantime takes down a knock onto the side of Tilka, and that's going to be a clean elimination at the same time to Team REGNUM, CRY adding numbers to their points table, to their kill points. Fluke also gets spotted up, he's running up from the buggy. There's no spray yet. Flute is going to be an important exit for him, and such a lucky scenario. But the spray from Wild was so on point as he manages to bring him down to only 20 HP. Frozen still barely survives in the stag. It's a central shift. Meanwhile, Frozen gets taken down to Zelkin's nade, who comes in from the northern side of these riches. And that's going to be indeed another kill. This time, this brings up Team REGNUM, CRY to total of 5 total elimination, and slowly steadily as Team REGNUM, CRY keeps on adding numbers, have already reached the point of 30 points. Now with 30 points being added up for them, they do realize that this is indeed the last Miramar, and when they have made it so long, they want to make it stretch all the way towards the end circles of the winner chicken dinner. Sashi indeed has been spotted, but Aces maybe misses it out. 17 players yet surviving, but look after Luxo 10. So 10 is giving a short peek, always gets taken down, And with that, excuse me, is going to lose out yet another one of those players. FUT Esports indeed comes out to be the one very dominant. That's an unfortunate exit for excuse me.
Being on top is obviously going to set up a target on the particular corner, so that's exactly what happens. I mean, excuse me, was looking very good in the initial two maps to be precise, but after that they're falling short of breath, they're falling short of points, and this kind of performance is obviously going to lead to a equalization or maybe a jumping down scenario of some other team. They might actually dethrone them. At the same time, we have got Tron, we have got Wild77k and Zelicon also surviving along with Luxio from Team Regnum Cura. I would love to see how they're going to push back in this scenario. MADBULLS is there beyond the edge on the northern corner, on the northwestern corner to be precise of this POI. But Luxio finds another one, and that is going to be BESIKTAS Esports' Enjoy, who has been picked off. With that, Zessi is also caught off guard in an open space, and that's it. Regnum Cura is going to fire another one. What a beautiful spray, man. And with that, we have 6 teams and 14 players are still surviving. So yes, definitely the competition is now evolving a lot. 6 teams and 14 players, that really means now in the later stages there is going to be a lot of up and downs. But AR could be the team which may finalize the chicken era and go home with smiling colors. Along with that, Regnum Cura is going to be one of the biggest competition, but I really doubt that MELISE Esports is going to come up with a strong POI in the later stages, because yes, they do have the zone control for now, but whenever the zone shifts, they are going to be the center of attraction. While they will be rotating, they will be getting off guard, and with that particular pick, maybe MELISE Esports could be shot down. But at the same point, we have Luxio, who has been traded off with the beautiful mini 14 tap shots coming in, and not just that, there is another mini 14 tap shots coming in for MELISE Esports as well, but MELISE just has to retaliate with the M16, a beautiful pick indeed, and Matrix has been picked off.
Indeed. On the 6 teams, I think this is going to be a very hefty battle. This battle started between Team BRA Esports and none other than SLE Europe. And BRA Esports didn't even had to move out of that entire zone. For all that time, for all of these fights, they are still right there in the factory. They are still not making any movement right there. And the zone has now all the way came in close to that. But just as I call off for that, it moves a little away from Kaiser. Now Kaiser has to move into its neighbor's factory where Power RTR is going to be holded off. Let's take a look after the start of Kaiser's POV. I don't know what loot is he having. As far as I know, he had a Uzi, he had a shotgun, and all he had was some bandages. There was not even a perfect first aid for him. Shot comes in from the side of Trix. Mini 14 runs out of bullet. He needs to reload. He does realizes it. Regnum Cryer at the same time with 4 players are just gonna fire up next towards the side of Team MELISE. But let's take a look after what Team BRA Esports, the last player, is going to be holding on to. That one last player has to move inside the circle. FUT Esports is also surviving with a very less numbers advantage. Slowly, steadily, ARR Esports, they have that 4-man advantage. They are now needing to go in beneath the slopes. They do have a vehicle as well on their back. So let's see how Team ARR is indeed going to come up. Because I think this was that one initial, map where I had really expected like ARR out of that 15 to 14 spot, which is all the way towards the bottom 3. They could come up on top, but let's see how it goes. Top 6 for the side of Team FUT and the side of Team, BRA. But let's see how it's eventually going to come out. MELISE Esports, they have an MK, which means that it could be a deadly automated weapon if he really manages to do so. With a level 3 upgrade, I think Team MELISE in short range could be a complete beast. But MADBULLS also have FLUX surviving, and Regnum Cryer is still going to be a little in a struggling spot to come inside the circle, as they're still in these outskirts and these slopes, but that's not yet the safe circle for them. Kaiser is eventually going to get spotted, and oh, this could be the end. This could be the start of the end for him, because he really needs to be inside a safe spot. If he runs out there in the open, just look after it, because he's just prone down to get the perfect spray, and if he moves out, then on the backline there's Poser, but he's going to be taken care of from the side of Aces, and that's the end for Team BRA, who get 4 elimination, but lucky for them as the zone completely favored them, and with that they will be eliminated at the 6th spot.
5 more teams left. 13 players are still surviving at this point. ARR is looking way too confident to just leave this chicken dinner out of the equation. They are just leveling out the players. At the same time, we do have Regnum Cura also surviving on the edges. But for Regnum Cura to be in the zone, they have to contest out both from FUT and also from MELISE Esports. And while rotating, they are going to face off a lot of backlash from ARR Esports as well. Because even though they are looking on the different edge, but the thing is, the best part is that ARR Esports is having the control of a very good POI, like they have got the height advantage in their favor, and through which they can easily shot down the players. At the same time, we might see some more nades being utilized. Let's see how this nade is going to be effective. It was a very good nade, but eventually, like he had an idea how the nade could actually shut him down. But at the same time, okay, MK14 being utilized. It is MADBULLS who has been taken down. And Lokche also gets picked up. While 77k has been taken down, and that's it. REGNUM CARYA is falling like a bunch of cards at this point. Last man standing is going to be Zelikon, which was actually measured way too early in the previous matchup, if you guys remember. But that nade from FUCs to win could be it. Could be it. Oh, it was a close one, but still not enough to completely shut them down. Zelikon has to fall back, otherwise that nade will be finding him out. And yeah, the nade goes
He did
in.
a 1v4.
I guess they are still surviving. I mean, it was quite a close nade, but still I believe there is the player which is from REGNUM's perspective is known as Zelikon is still surviving. But let's see how Savian is going to do it. How he's going to perform. Some more nades, some more trade fires. This guy is looking very good, like very effective as well at the same time. He's getting his job done. Multiple nades from his corner was utilized, but right now this is the one last final nade which he really wants to use, but eventually he does not want this to go in vain. So he really wants to use this nade, but eventually also get the output out of it. 4 teams, 10 players, that's what we have, and pretty much a survival rate of some amazing kills is going to come in, but that nade is again very close. Aces gets picked off from ARR. Some more nades are now getting cooked up, but look at the players from the other corner. Multiple KOs are coming in, and ARR Esports. Oh, it's again the third player getting picked off, but finally Beck finds the player, and now the revival is going to be there. But is it prudent? Is it fruitful? Because REGNUM CARYA is already pushing forward at the same angle.
Oh man, what a play right there. All was really looking good, but team REGNUM CARYA with 2 players. Now it's going to be a little tough spot. The numbers advantage doesn't look in their favor, and the DBS, well, he had just a single HP to work with. He brings out that DBS. The GAIMIN weapon once again happens to be a very disappointing gun for the start of team REGNUM CARYA. 1 versus 3 scenario, and team MELISE. Who would have predicted that this team was coming here to third party the start of teams? Lee Europe and none other than BRA Esports will now be a big contender to come up huge with that winner chicken dinner. But once again, you gotta give up to the consistency. Tron have pulled back the nade, and the nade does not connect in the best possible way. The molly dust comes right next towards the start of Tron. Tron surviving in only 60 HP. He has a UMP, but one player comes in just from the bottom position, gets the first knock. He wants to confirm it, but that's not going to be an easy one. MELISE is going to get the win in the map of Miramar, and that streak just goes on. It's indeed the 11th Miramar in the entire Ruthless Europe Invitational, and it's only those 3 teams once again doing it. Last time, I think in the phase 1, only one team other than Team FLUX who won Miramar was indeed Team MELISE, and once again they are the one who will win it in the final Miramar of the day. There's still one Erangel remaining, but what a map it's been. Total of 19 points being gathered up. They come up to the top 8 position. I think before this game they were at the 15th spot, but they are going to climb up a 7+ rank up. 10 placement point, 9 elimination points, and taking a look after the individuals. Oh my god, 1233 damage being done from the start of CO. Most damage being done, most damage being taken, most elimination, and most knockout from this team all the way goes in from the start of CO. And you know, his aim, his precision was just shown in the game itself.
Yeah, the synergy, the aim, as you said, was absolutely amazing. At the same time, 1233 is not a small feat to achieve as an individual player to get to the damage with. Teams to watch was for sure MELISE Esports, but the best part is MELISE Esports didn't rotate that much. They had a very early control of the Minas region, and eventually at the end, all thanks to the play zone, all thanks to the PUBG gods at the point, that the zone was in the favor of MELISE Esports, and eventually they were able to have the control out of it. See, just having the zone control is not going to be easy. You have to just maintain that particular POI, because before MELISE Esports came in, there was a zone for both NEXUS and also some other team which was there on the close quarters in the Minas Generals area. So still they lost it, and at the end it was MELISE Esports which had the complete control out of it. So CEO, Poser, Lewis, and Kissu, every single guy from MELISE Esports was absolutely prudent. MVP, well, he's CEO once again. 5 eliminations. 1233 is going to be the damage that he was able to dish out. Throwables use is 6 and assist is 2. Again, a very good score to beat.
Oh, indeed. I think like CEO, he performed. I think it's just not the numbers which should say how well this play eventually performed. but it's the knock as well, which he eventually did. Like, I remember him with a 3x and an M4. He was looking so deadly when he was firing up against the side of Team ARR. Even pushed, in the backlines for Team Major Pride. Major Pride were looking consistent all throughout these games. This is the first time where they are not in the top 5 and they're all the way down at the 15th at 0 point. Oxyrus with 0, Team Gaming Gladiators with 0, Nexus with 1, REGNUM CARYA came in with 15, which means that they will be now up all the way towards the 40s mark. AR are also added 13 into this overall ranking of them. Food Esports with 11, Mad with 9, and so did Team FLUX as well with 6. So first day where you will see no winner with a chicken dinner for FLUX, or else FLUX was one of the team who daily won at least 1 or 2 winner chicken dinner. Like, that was the consistency with this team showed. Next, RUYA had some promising eliminations, so the team is BG, as they managed to take down the biggest team, the biggest challenge for them in the San Martin, which was none other than FUD. Taking a look after the summary, it's going to be saving with highest elimination, highest damage from the side of CO, AK is coming in with highest assist. Then highest healing been done from the side of, like Elixir, and Savian coming out to be the highest knockout indeed. So, I mean, players, remarkable job from them. I think it was a real great map. But now it's time to take a look after which team has really proven up to be the one to cross the 50th mark. I think it's not yet going to be seen. I think still like 10 points it was away for the side of team, excuse me, and that's going to be the case. Team REGNUM CRYA will come up at the top store spot. It's 42-40. MADBULLS with 36. It's an entry of +7 rank for MELISE as they get so many points and a winner chicken dinner in the previous map. I think before that they only had 2 points. With the 19 points winner chicken dinner which they got, they're all the way up with 22. The 21 and the top 8 spot is BG with 25, Ford with 26, 29 for Nexus. Major Pride also up in 30s. And MADBULLS with 36. So let's take a look after what the bottom 8 teams are going to look like in the second page, because I do believe that there's going to be yet one more team who are like kind of struggling in the single digit points, and it was Team Gaming Gladiators who once again unfortunately got eliminated early, and that's them alongside BESIKTAS who are down to only 9 points.
Yeah, in the overall ranking, we can clearly see that there was a huge jump coming in, but at the end, I would love to add on that all of those ups and downs is looking like Gaming Gladiators is still unable to find their own form growth. The thing is, despite of the fact that Gaming Gladiators is unable to perform, BESIKTAS Esports is another team which we really had our hopes on, that this is the particular team which is going to perform, this is the particular team which is going to get the advantage at the end. But unfortunately, again, they are unable to perform, they are unable to just get the opportunity in their favor. I don't know what is happening to that particular team, but there are some other teams which are jumping a lot in the leaderboard, which are actually leading the charts quite a bit. So yeah, later in the stages, I guess this is the first day where they can explore, this is the first day where they can mess around and eventually still be lucky about it. But tomorrow the comeback is going to be there from a lot of teams, and eventually day after tomorrow it will be the final day where we'll get to see who is the top 3 team along with the MVP as well. But after a quick short break, we'll talk about the last final match for the day.
Well, with that, once again, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ruthless Europe Invitationals. This is gonna now head over to one final map to conclude the day one here at Phase 2. It's gonna be the map of Erangel where we are gonna be heading in next. So far, it's been 4 maps, and the number one team is having like 42 points. It's going to be none other than Excuse Me, but the graph has been somewhat low. So let's take a look after how the day has been overall. I think it was a big head start for the start of Team MADBULLS. Now still being up at the top 6. Team Excuse Me got a banger winner chicken dinner, but still they are holding that number one position, but not for too long. As from the back lines, MELISE, the Team NEXUS are coming in. Team like none other than REGNUM, CARYA, they have been consistent enough, they have been adding up those points, but the winner chicken dinner hasn't yet just came in. So let's see how the cases are going to be, as now it's going to be one final time as we are going to start up with the 5th game of the day, and this one is going to be an interesting one.
Right, definitely, this is the 5th and final match for the day, so I believe every other team is trying their level best, will try their level best, to be honest, to put some score onto the table so that they can start off tomorrow in a very, I guess, opportunistic fashion. And obviously it is going to demand a lot of service. It is also going to demand a lot of contribution with the synergy, with the right angles, with the right utilities and stuff like that. So yeah, predictions also will be coming in pretty soon, so that we can predict which is our favorite team, which might actually get the chicken in this particular matchup as well. But yeah, guys, make sure to tell us in the chat that how many predictions of yours have been correct at this point. There might be some polls and stuff like that. Also take part in that. On all around, if you really want to have an update about the event or some other IPs coming from Ruthless IP Esports, you can just go ahead and follow Ruthless IP Esports on their Instagram handle, that is esports.ruthless, so that you can get all the updates and vice versa, all the other things that you really want to know about Ruthless IP Esports or maybe the PUBG Mobile scenario, because we at Ruthless IP Esports normally just do PUBG events. So yeah, PUBG Mobiles is the scenario that you can actually get an info about. But all in all, currently, if I talk about the current scenario, after 4 good matches, there are quite a few teams which are anticipating each other, be it Excuse Me or be it MADBULLS or some other team. But yes, let's talk about the predictions. Upcon, what's your prediction for the 5th and final match for the day?
I think Team REGNUM CARYA has to conclude it. Like, if they want to get the number one, they have to be the number one in the entire map, indeed. So I might go with Team REGNUM CARYA. Let's see. I hope I don't, just kind of put in a prediction where whichever team I predict just ends up losing it out in the bottom 6 position of the map. But what's your prediction for the final game of the day?
MELISE Esports. For me, it is going to be MELISE Esports in this particular matchup. Yes, in the previous one, MELISE Esports was able to get a very beautiful chicken dinner, but indeed that was the map of Erangel where they had the complete control. They didn't rotate a lot. I mean, there are quite a few teams, like, I appreciated the way MELISE Esports performed in the particular matchup, but the thing is, they didn't have to rotate. They didn't have to be on a very nervous note, because in the map of Miramar, 70% of the team do get out just because of their rotations, just because of that small wrong decision that they do as an IGL or as a whole team, to be precise, that they decide to rotate from XYZ angle. So that was not there for MELISE Esports, and fortunately they were able to just completely create a stronghold. See, it was not like just that they had the zone and that is why they won. They were able to control it in their favor. They had the zone and still they had the upper hand in that particular play zone. They were able to shut down a lot of teams. If REGNUM CARYA would have been able to make an entry in the particular play zone, then I don't think so that it would have been an easier win for this particular team. Like AR Esports, that is another big team which was already having the control of the Minas region, but they still failed to achieve anything out of it. The reason being, again, a similar one, that they were unable to have the control of that favorable positioning. But yeah, let's talk about the 5th game, because the game is going to get started. Already the flight path is going to come in pretty soon. In just 20 few seconds, I believe 25 seconds, we'll get to see the flight path coming in. A small discrepancy, I believe, because this is going to be the final match for the day. It is going to be the day number 1, match number 5. Miramar is going to be the map. I really expect that is going to come in pretty soon for us. Yeah, small mistake from the backends. But anyway, guys, make sure to like, share and subscribe so that you can have an idea of what will happen in the Erangel. And there we go, a quick update for you guys. Erangel is the final map for the day, and yes, we are going to start it. Let's see where the flight path is going to start and where it is going to end. So it is starting from the areas of 70, if I'm not wrong, and it is going to dunk down towards the areas of southwest military base, which is again a good thing. I would love to see a flight path coming up in the military base vicinity. If that happens, it would be mesmerizing as well.
Clearly, but now it comes all the way in from the northern side of Severny, goes down I think previous to this, I think we saw a really dissecting one coming in from the side of, like Kamishki all the way towards the mid of Prismok and Yasiana Podiana. So it's like all coming from top to bottom. Let's see where teams are gonna go in. I do see one of the teams going up in the top lines, which is OZAROX. I mean, OZAROX, you had a military base, right? You had Nopal too. This time they're going all the way towards Severny, which is kind of uncalled. Okay, previously there was a disaster that happened. They rotated from the military base, held on towards the petroleum position, where Team Nexus just completely took them down within a nick of a second. So all of that load time, all of those, 8-year load, all for nothing. SBG versus BESIKTAS. Get ready, guys. Once again, it's going to be a thing. Team GAIMIN Gladiators are going in. Excuse me. I don't see yet the start of Team FLUX. Maybe they would have changed their mind towards the start of Getka. It's going to be Team ARR. Team BRIZEPOOL going in towards the mid regions. REGNUM CARYA having no things to worry about this time. Most of the time we do see Team REGNUM CARYA going up against the side of Major Pride, but this time it doesn't seem to be the case. On the other side, as we mentioned, SVG versus BESIKTAS. Get ready to embrace yourself, because this action never stops. Our team SVG is going to be the one to fall as the first player, and with that it's a squad elimination already. So only 4 kills and only 4 points for the start of Team BESIKTAS to start off the map.
Well, look at that. One more pick, one more shutdown, one more takedown is coming in at this point. Nobody is stopping them. FF Sulke was able to take down one good player from Excuse Me as well. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, teams like Excuse Me, if they are falling short of breath, then I believe some other team is going to have the opportunity. And the way Excuse Me was performing in the past 2 matches, it was not at all looking good. So this is again a downfall that might actually come in. Solke finds a very beautiful pick. He has got the S1907 in his hand along with an UMP45, which is again a very good combination. When you talk about the close quarter combat, you can have a beautiful automated weapon, which is again SMG, that is UMP45 in the close quarter combat, and eventually you should use the one shot one kill type of gun, that is the S1987. But let's see where he's going to fall back. FLUX Esports, I'm talking about Solke, the only hope for the team, because every single vehicle that was there is already out of equation. The players from Excuse Me have utilize it, and now trying to rotate is going to be the concern for them. Well, Havlik was able to take 2 finishes, but after that he was also taken down, which is again not a good thing. Furia off to a very bad start because his HP is not at all there. He might actually get shot down, but before that he has to just heal himself, maybe get some good first aid kits, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. He has got some bandits with which he can easily repatch himself, and also there is going to be 2 energy drinks if I'm not wrong. Using them is going to give him 80% of the boost, and which is going to in turn help him replenish all of his HP.
I think the rotations have also been called off. Team Asia Pride now taking in the entire school. It's a really smart start for them. There's no fight of them and REGNUM CARYA in the starting half, which gives both the teams enough time to get the most healthy loot, then to give their best fight. On the top of the Rozhok positions, you have Team MADBULLS, and it's a Rozhok and the No Man's Land entirely for the side of Team MADBULLS alone. So there's so many teams who get so good loot out of it. OZAROX has also left the entire military base empty at this point. MELISE is meanwhile loading down towards these bottom, like positions where you expect the side of a farm position where you have these open regions. So let's see how situations eventually do turn down, as one more team who is again slowly steadily coming inside the entire circle has to be none other than OZAROX, as they all the way towards the top lines. REGNUM CARYA towards the water Rozhok this time. Alright, so this could be a pretty devastating one. Let's see how situations eventually come out, because the drop from the side of ARR is going to be the closest one to contest. Slee meanwhile as well rotating inside the shelter position. I think for esports might be just close to them. The Reflect at the same time using his motor vehicle to get those rotations off. Lucky GAIMIN Gladiators at this time, there's no one towards George City, but this is a very, very difficult place to loot the entire, I'll say inventory. I mean, being a George Pool City, you just require so much time, and at the same time, it's a difficult place to spot yourself some good vehicle. Okay, lucky him that he manages to retrieve an M4. With that M4, now he'll be looking out for a single vehicle to just travel that 1500 meter, which they are currently away from the circle.
Yeah, they have to travel in the circle so that they can have a control out of it. See, the map of Miramar actually pans out to a map where teams usually actually love to play on the edges. But eventually, if we talk about the map of Erangel, definitely having the central POI in your favor is going to have you the going to bring a lot of upper hand in the particular fight, because you can have an idea of how the teams are rotating and also set up defensive parameters. At the same time, if I talk about Sly Europe, the last man standing is going to be Reflect, if I'm not wrong. And he, not the last man standing, I believe the last man stuck in this particular compound is here. And he's about to receive a very big shot onto him. DBS are coming in, Reflect is trying his level best, which is fleeing from the scenario is going to be the goal for him. BESIKTAS Esports on the other corner is also getting attacked quite a bit. You can clearly see the HP is not at all looking good for Reflect. He's trying to, first of all, heal himself. Oh, that nade was a close one. BESIKTAS on the other corner is going to come up with a domination. OZAROX Esports, to be precise, is about to get shut down. Oh, the retaliation was there, but eventually 2 good players have already been shot down. The third one, will he be able to take 1 or 2 players down? Yes, he does. He was able to take 1 player down. What about the last one? What about the final player for this particular compound? Because all the other guys from team NEXUS Esports are also trying to regroup pretty soon. And yes, the regrouping scenario is done and dusted. I might see some more fights from here.
Oh, surely. I think this could be a little difficult one at the same time. But, oh, the knocks from Slee Europe is looking good. Team Nexus is being the one who are just falling one by one into the firepower, which seems Slee Europe is currently showing up. Oh, the nade is still there. I think, Perenchik could really fall down to the nade. Not indeed the most promising one. As you can see, 2 versus 3 scenario yet. The revival has to come in, and he knows that this is the best spot for him to just regain the control, but Reflect is just on the backline. It's a DBS versus DBS fight between Reflect and Kavala, and Messiah is also going to come in. The revival onto the side of Madrian is going to be made, and Zippers is also going to be the one who will be revived back. So this is a team Slee Europe who will get that numbers advantage back. On the other hand, Team RUTHLESS Esports, a little bad spot for them. Let's see out of the top spot, how are they going to manage to retrieve back. MADBULL also gets taken down. Kapala is instantly going to get denied, and Team Nexus will be down to only 1 single player. A 1 versus 4 for the side of Machina. I don't know if he has a DBS yet, but that could be that one hope. Hits in the meantime, takes down Solki, so that's none other than FLUX being out of the equation.
A tough fight indeed. Now, NEXUS Esports, whatever they want to do, I guess survival is something which is going to be out of the equation. He might actually get 1 or 2 play down, but no, that is not even the case. At this point, Sly Europe once again bounces back a lot. You can clearly see that initially they didn't have the momentum. Their players were falling short of breath, but still the fight back scenario from Sly Europe was absolutely amazing. Now, this is what we were talking about. Like, this is the first day, and eventually we are talking about the final map for this particular first day. So there are going to be quite a few teams which are trying their level best to do everything that is possible from the corner, and that's exactly what is happening. But look at the farm region. Too much of a cluster is there beyond the farm and Pochinki region, between the farm and Pochinki region to be precise. There are at least 6 or 7 teams fighting in that 100 to 200 meters of an area. Moving forward, Milta is going to be the concerned area, or maybe the Minovo Ripno bridge close to that particular area is going to be the concerned area where the teams are going to jump in. And yeah, after the jump goes on, after the teams are able to access those locations, there is going to be a parameter setup. And before that, we have MADBULLS finishing 1 more off from BESIKTAS Esports. Again, a very big loss.
Well, Team MADBULLS, I think they did unfortunately lose out a player, but wow, what a spray on the side of Enjoy as he dinks him down to a very low HP. Enjoy, I don't think would be eager enough to peek him back after that. A fallen Dacia back down inside the waters. An unfortunate trail once again for the side of Team MADBULLS, but look after the zone. Zone is in the bottom in the Milta region, and it's like 1500 meters away from your team. Melisses, how are they going to plan to move inside the zone? At this point, it's just these exits, but they are planning to get these skills, which are indeed the ones that they could really count on or rely on. Peace manages to bring himself back his Dacia and is now looking to fall back. Might as well get it. Team Foot is right up next towards the side of Team Melisses Esports. Oh, the bandage, the first aid is coming in. Enjoy might be hearing this, but oh, lucky she that he manages to get away with this healing. Now he is going to be just all the way rotating in back. TZ meantime gets down onto the side of Wolf's Mini. Peace still after being 1600 meter away from the safe circle. I love the fact that they are so keen to just put themselves inside this fighting position because they know that instead of going inside the circle, being in a very tough spot, being all the way damaged in, and then going for kill won't be that plentiful, then to just get the kill right away. But P7, the sinking doesn't last long as Frozen gets a kill. He is just being the MVP of Team MADBULLS all along the day, and the domination once again came in. 5 total elimination for Team none other than MADBULLS as they're looking to completely eliminate Team BESIKTAS, and that's what is the case. BESIKTAS is completely gonna get taken down, and with that, it's the top 11 team which we already have. Now they have enough time. It's just the second phase, which is like 2 damage per second, you can say. So like every other second passes by, you would be losing on those HP within like 30 seconds. If you don't heal up, you might really get knocked off. But with 4 players surviving, I don't think it's going to be a difficult task. Next, RUYA is going to close things on towards the start of Team Gladiators, and Matic, being the only surviving player, has pulled off a perfect nade. But that nade might not really land as the aggression or the solo peaks weren't just coming in. There goes yet another nade. This time it might damage a little towards the car. 1 versus 3 isn't looking that doable because Team Next RUYA playing it smart. They are playing it together. And just from the backlines comes in Dokin Machine with the Vector and will get the final kill. That's the 11th team getting eliminated at this point, and with that, MELISE, Lee Europe and Ford will be fighting on to gain this most important region. I think MELISE, if they just hold on these double story, they would be in the best possible case scenario, because after 30 seconds when the zone will be shrinking in, this is where the zones are going to be coming in, and that's where all the teams want to be wanting to close things down. But Lee Europe, they had the best chance to deny Team 4 Esports from stepping in towards their land. They managed to take down Savian. Kairos is down to very low HP, but still, the success rate to win the fight falls into the hands of Lee Europe as they are really split positioned, and Rookie just turn around the odds.
What a fight, man. FUT Esports barely surviving to their life, and eventually Rookie is going to be the last hope for the team, as you said. And Sly Europe, they do have the domination factor, but I guess the domination is not going to stop anytime soon. In the Milta vicinity, there is going to be another fight. Look at those mollies, look at those utils that are being used to be precise. But before that, every single player that is there in the closer vicinity is getting punched up. Vishank and also Mandarin has been picked up. Both of them has to get the revival done. Mandarin might actually get the revival by Reflect, and on the hindsight, if Otokobo 7, he is also about to receive the revival with Rookie. So whenever the revival is completed, obviously it is going to become one of the biggest assets for the team, and that's exactly what is happening. Reflect is trying his level best to go ahead and get back the Mandarin back in the game. 7 and both Rookie are trying their level best to just completely change the pace of the game, and that Molly, it was a close one, but still the players are going to survive. Look at that revival that has been delivered, and with that revival, obviously the game is now back and it is resetting for the team Nurse like Europe. On the high side, if I talk about FUT Esports, obviously after the loss of those 2 amazing players, this team is actually on a very shaky corner. But on the other corner, MELISE Esports is off to a very good start. They're trying to punch up the players of REGNUM CARYA, but things might change rapidly because there are quite a few teams still chasing the chicken dinner, because as I said, this is the last match. Every single thing has to be put down in this particular matchup so that they can perform or maybe be a bit more comfortable tomorrow. But before that, being a Ghost Rider was the case for the guy, but still he was able to find 1 player, and Reflect on the other corner finds another one. That's interesting. There are a lot of mollies flying here and there. On the hindsight, you can clearly see in the short right POV, there is another team fighting back. It is, if I'm not wrong, OZAROX Esports trying to retaliate. Not OZAROX, that is REGNUM if I'm not wrong. So yeah, let's see how far they can go. Now the revival is completed. This is the right opportunity to push forward. But before that, NR again finds 1 more. And due to this, obviously all of that momentum, all of that pushy scenario is going to get stopped.
I think it's going to be a little unfortunate, but did you see there, like, the way he got the knock was first using the flashbang. After the flashbang, he forced the players to just walk into his own molly and to his own death at the same time. But from the back line comes in Kirish from Team DRA, who gets the first knock, and Team Lee Europe always have been the case. But even if they have the numbers advantage, they're just not able to close things down. Like, it's only 2 players surviving from Team Ford who are just holding the entire team of Slee so well. And I think so far Team 4 is still having the advantage, but this nade is going to do so much impact. The counter nade comes in and that might just not land in the right spot. Oh, he still, I think, survives. There was no knock in yet. The counter push is coming in, but that's a squad elimination. What a play from Savian from the backline. Team RUYA Esports will really annoy the side of team Slee Europe. They took down two of the players and the fan player just fall victim to that DBS. Once again, it's DBS into the hands of Major Pride. This time it's with a good nade. Oh, the nade is bad. The nade is really bad. And Team Major Pride now down to only one single player. Dino is going in for the revival. But Team ARR is going to realize that it's only left to one player. It's a 1 versus 1 scenario. Revival could be the best case scenario. He does confirm a kill, but he realizes that now there are 2 footsteps being heard. Oh, this all of a sudden is going to be so more chaotic for him. He has a UMP, which is the best case scenario for him. Just 2 bullets wanting to land in the very own spot. But here comes the first knock. There goes another one, and with that, Team Major Pride, they're left with only one player, will be good for nothing. And that's yet another squad falling down at the 8th spot.
Too many players are getting taken down at this point. I mean, this is again a very aggressive stance coming in, but in the later stages, we might see a lot of passive plays because there are a lot of compounds in the consideration. Like whole Milta is still in the zone, and due to that, a lot of teams might be hiding in the later stages. I mean, a lot of players to be precise because there is not a lot of teams left. Maybe some players are going to hide here and there and usually survive still a lot, and that's exactly what FUT is also trying to come up with. They don't have the manpower. They could have been taken down quite soon, but still they're hiding, and there is no possible way that Braz is actually going to push forward. Like Bro Esports, if they decide to push forward, they are easily going to get stopped from multiple angles, be it MELISE Esports or some other angles. Like NR could actually push forward onto them. So yes, it is going to be a very risky job of them pushing forward or maybe attaining the advantage in their favor. But at the same time, if we're about next RUYA, they're also trying to change different angle. Like Dukul Machine, look at him. He's got the drop advantage in his favor. On the hindsight, if I talk about MADBULLS, he's already receiving a lot of shots from NR's perspective, and this is again one of those teams which loves to outperform, which loves to bounce back a lot in the game. But let's see how far will they be able to do that, because obviously not a lot of power is going to be there when multiple teams are going to confront them. ARR is also trying to rotate, which was pretty close to the Nova Bridge if I'm not wrong, and now finally they're rotating. MELISE Esports, after losing 2 or 3 good players, is also not that comfortable, but the another airdrop to be honest, has been taken down by Mads Frozen. So MADBULLS, you have the airdrop advantage, you have the right level 3 West Helmet backpack advantage. Let's see what kind of gameplay they are going to dish out in the later stages.
Oh man, I think like with only 7 teams at this point, it's the zone which is going to decide the fate of these teams, as if they have to move out of those clean circles, or do they have to just keep holding things up. I think it should be the Milta, which should be the entire end circle. Does it go towards shows? Because if it does, I think it would be a big chaos for everyone. So it has to come towards the city part. Let's see where the zone is going to be eventually shrinking. It does go towards center. Takes both into consideration, leaves out team, like a next RUYA Dukin machine. Even like I believe the side of M8 has to come in, which is MELISE. In the bottom lines, Team ARR, they have the complete bottom shows, so they could just run around these entire outskirts to find themselves in the circle and right near to the water shows. But in the between sides of Milta, you have Team X, excuse me, and at the same time you have MADBULLS at the same. So 20 seconds, slowly, steadily, now the zones were going to be shrinking in. Excuse me, just close things down near towards the side of where MADBULLS are going to be positioning, and still no action being there. Team BRA, they have the numbers advantage, they have the zone, they are in the center, so they're letting most of the heavy lifting to be done from the opponent team to give up any sort of open peak and then to take first part of advantage of peak. They're not just rushing into open sides. They know that this is a very important compound to hold off. Eventually, if the zone completely closes into their favor, they could minimally confirm themselves the top 3 position.
I guess that can happen, no doubt on that. But yeah, Hirali finds another one. So picks are coming in, that's good. 5th zone is already on the move. Multiple teams have to rotate eventually if the zone is not going to be there at their favorable corner. Like MELISE Esports, they are stuck on the edges. They have to rotate if the zone gets there with a hard shift. On the hindsight, if we talk about ARR as well, Matrix is already trying to be on the move. We have Tapok, again, one of those amazing players who actually outperformed a lot in the phase 1, if you guys remember. Okay, Matrix is back with Tapok, and the 2 other players are already having the compounded advantage in their favor. Okay, no, that's MADBULLS if I'm not wrong. ARR's back is actually there on the back end, and pretty soon that rotation might actually help them. But before that, excuse me, again, that particular team which is sitting on top of the leaderboard, top of the food chain, is still surviving, which is a good thing. But MELISE Esports, oh, they're losing blood, they're losing players, they're losing survivors at this point, and we do know losing players in this kind of later stages is obviously going to create a lot of buzz, and due to that, they might just lose the tournament.
Oh man, it's going to be a little tough one. But let's see Team Next RUYA meantime. 4 total defeats for them. The airdrop lands all the way in the favor of Team BRA. And BRA is just dominating in that spot. I mean, this is what we were talking about. Slowly, steadily, they'll make sure that they do the other teams do the mistake and then capitalize on it. Trix is going to be taken down. The revival is instantly coming in. Yekta go up is also going to be taken care of from the side of Sovian. For esports, I think it's not yet an elimination for them, where I did thought that the final player who just got knocked off, somewhere on the line, we are still seeing Sovian surviving. They do make sure that Slee Europe have just been totally annihilated with that DBS in that 2 versus 4 scenario, but it was in the back of Team BRA as well, who were giving so much backup right there, which was completely unconsiderable. Next RUYA at the same time, 20 more seconds. Let's see where the next circle is eventually going to shift up. It's just a matter of few seconds still we see, but all of these 7 teams, they're just looking so strong. If another nade could just go up towards the 3rd story building, I think this would have been a complete chaos for Team BRA Esports. But at this point, even if they get the knockout, I don't think that closing things down would be the best option, because their Team Next RUYA is on the backlines, Team ERR is near the shores. So even if you get a knock, it's going to be a difficult one. And just as we say that, it's these, triple, roads which are coming in once again, aligning with the circle, leaving the shores behind, and leaving Team Next RUYA, MELISE and ARR behind the circle. So the zone once again favors Team BRA, MADBULLS, and the Team FUD in the very center.
Now moving forward, the biggest fear for Team MELISE Esports is going to be that team which is running the Extruya, because they are constantly pressurizing them. I would have to see how that pressure is going to get overcome by this team in the later stages, but for now it really seems like that FUD Esports could actually have the upper hand onto the shots as well. They can easily try and maybe get the upper hand in it, but misuse. Okay, sorry, MELISE Esports' KSU is also been taken on at the same time period. So the picks are coming in for sure. There could be a revival-like situation. No, before that, KSU gets taken down. It's a domination for next year. That's good enough, but the last man standing from MELISE Esports is still surviving, so he might actually punish them in the later stages. But before that, a beautiful control is there from Doku Machine. And the way Inar is performing, they might just receive the chicken dinner. Lewis gets spotted. Oh, one beautiful spray, and that's it. That's it. Doku Machine finds finally Lewis as well with that MELISE Esports. Despite of the fact that they were able to get the previous chicken dinner in this particular matchup, they were even unable to secure more than 1 point. I believe just 1 point was there for them. That's it. It has been done. It has been over for now. And 6 teams in team place are still surviving. BRA Esports is already ready, FUT is ready, NR is ready, MADBULLS is ready. Multiple teams, behemoth of the teams are still surviving. But still saying that which particular team is going to take the chicken dinner is not going to be that easy. I really feel like that NR could actually do it. But if the zone is going to be still in Milta region, maybe MADBULLS could be the one.
Oh man, let's see how situation eventually slowly steadily closes down in the favor or against the favor of Team BRA, who might still be in a very big contesting position. Close to them is going to be Team ARR, and Team NR is having 4 players alive. I mean, the last time we saw them having the 4 players alive, they definitely worked out with a winner chicken dinner. This time, the zone has to heavily favor them. If it goes all the way towards the opposite side of the road, oh, it's going to be so uncontestable, because Team BRA Esports on the other side of the road is having a clean advantage just to keep each and every team. And that's been a reason that ARR has found it so difficult that they just walked up towards these water shows and just took another route to get themselves in the circle. Now, the drop also comes in right in the center of the road, where it's really difficult for any of these teams to even contest. Team, excuse me, Furia could really found on Tapuk if he just really goes on to aggressive. Now the buggy is going to be hurt. Furia is going to go in. Tapuk, he deals with a single HP of damage. BRA Esports might also find him, but there's a slope right next to him, which gives him a big advantage, a big, structure to hold on to. But Furia is still coming up from the back lines. Now from the back, it's going to be Strix and Becca who needs to give a support. But let's take a look how the zone is going to close in. The zone is closing in within 4 seconds. And these 4 seconds are going to decide that where the teams need to reposition themselves. So far, it's been a real light zone, center to center, but now it goes all the way towards a hard shift of hub. And this still leaves Team BRA Esports in a good spot, but only for one zone. The next zone is surely going either towards the side of Team Next RUYA, or either it's going up towards the side of, MADBULLS. There's a very no or a very 0.1% chance that FUT and Team VRA Esports compound could really be the end circles. But indeed, what an interesting circle in the very final match. And slowly, steadily, as teams walk up towards the end circle, the shots have been getting fired up. It's going to be none other than VRA Esports who are doing a lot of damage.
Yup, the damage is coming in. Yes, indeed, the pressure is falling short at this point. If we talk about BRA Esports, look at that. Elvis once again tries to outperform and was able to get a pick onto the place of ERR, and that is Pubg, who is up next in the alleyway. Elvis again gets damaged quite a bit. He's going to use the medkit that is secured at this point, but eventually before that, Becca also gets picked off. And at this point, I would love to add on that AR is just falling short of players. Multiple players are getting picked off. Now, the last few players are there on the back end. We have Excuse Me also trying to performing exceptionally well. Remember, this team is trying to be on top, and that is why they will hunt down every single player that is in front of them. The Pubg gets picked off with Reddish perspective. That's a very good nade. And this is actually going to be the distraction to be precise that I was talking about. Maybe Furia is going to be the guy who might actually get the revival. But before that, another beautiful nade. It is very close. It is actually a very precise nade. But still not enough to completely shut down the player with that SLK in the hand. He's trying to put forward. He's trying to get the advantage out of it. But he might not survive till the end. Yeah, Tapok is going to get him. And with that, is still going to survive. A domination factor coming into the play. MADBULLS could be coming in and approaching this particular fight, but they have other difference, or should I say other plans at this point, because they're trying to fight back with the VRA Esports as well. At the same time, we do have FUT still surviving, and that's impressive. And FUT Esports, if you guys remember, came here in the third or second zone, but from then till here, they're still struggling, they're still fighting. Although after losing two good players, they are unable to do a lot of stuff, but still they are alive, and that's the best part. You are getting some placement points. In the later stages, you might actually be able to get the upper hand, because you can clearly see VRA Esports have a domination right now. One of those teams which were actually quite lucky and quite chaotic, like AR Esports, have already been eliminated. So the one which are patient are still surviving. The one which wanted to be chaotic, which wanted to push forward a bit, are now already out of equation.
Alright, so this is now going to come over to the final game, and as I mentioned, Team VR is going to realize that this is not going to be a zone which will favor them for the next circle. It's still a very light shifted zone. It's still a zone which is not doing a lot of chaos to all of these teams. But within, I think, 20 seconds, it's indeed going to shrink in. So after the shrink comes in, I think it's a real tough spot, as the Team FUT is having only 2 players. They have to move up. I think Savin is going to be one of the players who is right in the circle. He's right in the perfect spot. Team RUYA has nothing to do with the entire lobby at now. They just wants to make sure that they continue this numbers advantage, just to ensure that if they come in towards the fight, there's Team BRA Esports who could really put them down. There's Team MADBULLS who could be a big chaos. And you just don't want to fall victim of 2 of the teams whom you want to first make sure that they fight up against the start of each other. But now the circle is shifting in. 40 seconds till slowly, steadily, the entire circle closes down. Slowly, steadily. Now I think the nades are also going to be falling down. Team VRA Esports, they have to come inside the circle too. And as soon as they move out in these broken walls, Rookie is just so in the right spot to deny the crossing. Oh, the timing is perfect for the start of creation to come in. Oh my god, this would have been perfect, but they still managed to get themselves in a little safe spot. It buys a little few seconds, but Rookie might be in a very tough spot, and yes, he will. The backlines, the backfire from Frozen comes in, and with that, so comes the kill. Team Bra still looking to get inside the circle. There have to be one revival which has to come in. Kazers is down, is bleeding a little, and at the same time will be revived in no time. But FUT Esports is also going in for a revival, but the nade was really good tossed. But the equalizer still doesn't comes in. 3 players are knocked, but instantaneously the revival comes in. But there comes another knock. This time it's Kirali, and slowly, steadily, once again, Team RUYA Esports are looking to fall apart in the end circle.
Well, the thing is, NEXUS is still trying to be a bit more chaotic right now. This is all about the 9th zone, so everybody has to push forward. Due to the manpower, maybe NEXUS is still going to make it out as a winner chicken team, but the thing is, multiple utilities are now being used up. Although these are the utilities which are going to help NEXUS, at the same time, look at MADBULLS. They're trying to be a bit more aggressive. Has got the level 3 West helmet in his favor, but will he be able to just completely shut down VRA Esports? That's the big thing. Okay, another spray coming in. That was a sweet one. And with that kind of spray, with that kind of anticipation, VRA Esports is already on the verge of decimation. And yes, they are out of equation with that FUT Esports. And then NEXUS is still surviving. Okay, that was a close one, but NEXUS also gets picked off. A vehicle clasher coming in. BRA Esports, yes indeed, they have been picked up, but seems like that NEXUS is going to get out of the equation because the only guy which is surviving at the back end is also with a very bleak amount of HP. Look at Joker Machine. Does not have any kind of first kit, does not have any kind of idea. Okay, finally it's done. MADBULLS out of the blue secures a beautiful chicken dinner. What a formation, what a performance. They had the central POI in the favor and eventually was able to push forward despite of all the smokes coming in from that particular team known as NEXUS. Advantage falls in the hands of MADBULLS because they not just eliminate the team known as BRA Esports, not just eliminate the team known as FUT, they were also eliminating the main POI opponent, and that was known as NEXUS, I believe. And with that, the performance is absolutely improved. 24 points in this particular matchup. 2011 is going to be the damage, and with this kind of performance, they are easily going to get boosted the first position in the overall ranking.
I think completely, man. I believe this was tremendous coming in from the side of, like Team NEXUS. They played it so patiently, they played it so well. And, in the end, the way they managed to just deny the side of Team Food, it was beautiful. But MADBULLS at the same time, they got 10 elimination to deny team, BRA Esports from coming in the end circle. NEXUS were down to almost a 3 versus 4 scenario. One by one, each and every player just went down. And in the end, it was MADBULLS who just win it all in the final game of the day one. But I think with that, they are all the way up at the number 1 position too. Frozen comes up with 7 elimination. 964 damage which was being done from the side of FLUX. Teams to watch were definitely none other than BRA, who did so much damage. They did cover, not the least. I think it was MADBULLS with the least distance covered, because I think MADBULLS were close towards the Milta power. Team BRA Esports as well, just on the northern side. I think this is where Team OZAROX Esports would have had an advantage. They went towards Savoni rather than going in towards Nova Pool, Nova Repnoya, and towards the military base island. And that entire island, that entire Nova Repna pool was completely left empty. AR Esports also made it till the end circle, but the circle completely went opposite to them. The MVP for the game is going to be FLUX, who gets 4 elimination, 964 damage, and a use of 9 throwables, which was just tremendous.
Yep, Flaky did everything that was there in this possible corner. He was able to be aggressive, he was able to be quite a supportive guy for the team as well. As we can clearly see, he had 4 finishes. The damage was absolutely amazing. Not just that, he was also able to assist his own teammates, for 4 finishes to be precise. He was able to get the advantage to his teammates. But 14 finishes, I was not at all expecting that MADBULLS was able to get that many finishes. But in the later stages, if you guys remember, 2 to 3 teams were shot down by this particular team, so they definitely had that upper hand. But match summary, in that particular POI, you can clearly see every now and then you can see a full squad roster of the team known as MADBULLS, except the position of highest knockouts, and that is from Reflex corner. Sly Europe is going to be the particular team where Reflex was able to get the highest amount of knockouts, and that is 6. Again, a very good score, to be honest. Frozen is actually on the second position, who had 4 knockouts. But at the end, I would love to add on that match summary was absolutely keen. Frozen is one of those guys who is looking forward to become the overall MVP at the end, because 7 eliminations, that is just huge.
Slowly, steadily, let's take a look after how the overall is gonna look like, because I do believe that the total points contributed 24 for Team MADBULLS. The team coming at second spot made it barely into this double digits, 14 points for them. Team BRA, who had a best spot, weren't able to close things up, and I think this has been a case for a long time. They get 4-man in the end circle, but then it's just they completely collapse. They completely get so easily arbitrated, because it's just that they get congested within each other, that not even a single player is in the safest spot. Everyone are just right behind each other, and one by one they get taken down, even if one is down. The panic situation you could just imagine. Imiara managed to get 8, 7-7 for the start of Team Major Pride and Ballistas. Even for esports, Sly Europe had a good start, but with only 6 points, it will be good enough. In the Milta region, I think one team which made all the way up towards the top 5 position was Team Excuse Me, but then again, that 2v3 against CRR wasn't that promising enough. But with that, taking a look after the match starts, 7,321 total healing, 209 throwable mean use, 360 longest elimination, 67 knockouts, 61 elimination. I mean, out of 64 players, you have 67 knockouts. which then again is like really interesting. 10 headshots, 25 rescues, and 4 airdrops were looted. Like eventually all the ones in the end were looted, and it's gonna be Major Pride Dino who comes out to be the longest elimination distance. I think like even in the end circles, like how team MADBULLS really, like took that level 3 armor into the place was completely good. But what? Okay, the MVP of the day one is indeed going to be Nomi. I think the Major Pride didn't made that easily as it might be looking, but the 15 points out of the entire team is just a contribution from the side of Nomi himself. First game was completely a big start for them, and like 2875 damage, which he totally did, an average survival time of 1910. 20 average survival minutes for the side of Luxy from the side of REGNUM CARYA. Then you had 20 minutes for Wild, 20 minutes for the side of Tron as well. And I mean, like the fourth play indeed will be looking to come out, but at the same time, Team NEXUS RUYA also had Frozen, who was just so ice cold with this play. All the way, I think he might be positioned towards the second place or somewhat, third for now, because 12 eliminations for him. With 5 elimination, I think Luxy is a little up on him.
Yeah, I mean, these are the top 10 players who are becoming the MVP, and eventually this is the first day. So remember, 2 more days, 10 more matches to go with. Then eventually we'll get to see who is the overall MVP and who will be getting that $100 reward of the overall MVP. When it comes to the fragging situation, again, Nomi is going to be on top with 15 frags. Frozen will be on second. Same goes to another Frozen that is from MADBULLS. There are 2 Frozens in the lobby, guys. Make sure to remember. One is from NEXUS RUYA and another one is from MADBULLS. And eventually, if we talk about REGNUM CARYA, we have Tron with 11 finishes and 793 of damage, and eventually if we talk about we do have Furia with 11 finishes and 1624 is going to be the damage. I'm actually very surprised to see like at the third position Matt Frozen just have 1327 of the damage and eventually 12 finishes. So that is the kind of play he's coming up with. The MADBULLS finally jumping from third position to first. 60 points, there is a buffer of 12 points. They are way too safe at this point. Like tomorrow's day is going to be quite a fruitful one for MADBULLS if they want to just start with the way they are starting. They were ending it, to be honest. Like the way they performed in this matchup, if they are going to perform again tomorrow, like the way they performed today, it will be absolutely mesmerizing because 2 days straight up consistent play can easily help them to be in the top 3, top 5 positions at last. 48 points for them. REGNUM CARYA with 41 points. Major Pride 39. FEB Esports also jumped up a bit with 33. Okay, next to look at them jumping up from plus 5 positions. Like they were looking somewhere around, if I'm not wrong, to 11th or 12th position. From that position, they have jumped to the 6th position, which is again congratulations to them. Bryce was again stuck at the 7th position. At 9th position, we have AR Esports, again a very huge jump coming in from their particular perspective. But if we talk about the drop down scenario, that is from MELISE Esports. Again, MELISE Esports is still becoming the same team like just the phase 1 where they had the initial control of the day number 1 and then eventually fall down to the lower stages of the match, and that's exactly what is happening. Just one good match for them, and if I'm not wrong, that was the Miramar, the 4th map. After that, anything fruitful is not coming in from the corner. Not just after that, not before, even before that particular match, like in first, second and third match, there was nothing from MELISE Esports. All of a sudden a chicken comes in. I was also pretty much keen on picking them up so that we might actually see a chicken dinner coming from the corner as well. Unfortunately, what happens in that particular matchup, they went out way too early, like at 7th position without any finishers. That means they had just 1 point altogether in their favor. So plays like that is obviously not going to help these teams to become the star of the phase number 2 as well. As phase number 1 is already over, now we are talking about phase 2. First day is already done and dusted. Now the day of comeback will be there tomorrow, and after that, day of judgment is going to be there day after tomorrow. So I guess the competition is just getting shorter. Time is getting slower, and eventually time is actually picking up its own pace. But then again, there is not a lot of time period to play with, and there is not a lot of matches to actually explore and get some strategies and stuff like that. Just give it your 110%. I believe that's all I can say at this point from the caster desk. But yeah, Apko, anything to add on before we end the stream?
I mean, it's just the day 1, in the day 1, SBG were also looking on top, but by the end of day 3, they were in the bottom 15th position. So the tables could turn around anytime. It's just about the consistency and about the entire war these teams are going to be up with. But I think with that, it's going to be it. I think the day is going to be it from our side as well. You guys have a great evening ahead. It's going to be me, Upcon and Raider. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 6:30. Do not forget to tune in. Meanwhile, follow Ruthless for all the updates. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 6. Unless, have a good evening.
Void.